It is three-man front on this Thursday. Pat Landrum, Molly Conrad with you until 2 o'clock. It is day 2 of SEC basketball.
My bracket's already busted.
Is it?
Well, Patriot League. Job, Navy.
Oh, so it was Navy. Conrad and I were talking about that earlier today. We couldn't remember if you were all in on American University.
I can't remember if I publicly stated it on the air, but no, I liked Navy. They had won their last 7 or 8 games, and the last time they met with American, they won by 8. And then yesterday, it was not good. In fact, it was so bad at halftime, I put on an Army shirt.
Okay.
I'll say you and Greg both. I know Greg was big on Navy yesterday as well.
Well, I mean, you saw what one of the midshipmen
Geniuses
did.
make mistakes, Conrad. Sorry. Road scholars make mistakes. Yeah.
You saw the video. I mean, he did his best Chad Baker Mazzara. I haven't seen Mazzara, hit anybody in their nads. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
But it is
The weekend is young.
That's right. Auburn doesn't play till Friday.
Got a lot of games.
So we're hoping that might happen.
Nad hitting opportunities.
Yeah, something else. Tournaments galore. It's a great time of the year if you're a college basketball fan. A little bit later in the show, we're going to go to Nashville. We'll talk to Ty Richardson as the Arkansas Razorbacks. They started things off yesterday with a big win, 72-68. So Ty will be on a little bit later, actually right before tip-off of the big game between Ole Miss and Arkansas. Later on, Dave Shoemate. He is the college basketball insider for SEC Unfiltered. He will be along to give us his thoughts on what's going on the SEC tournament. Rodney Orr and Rob Pate as well. But let's start with that first game that took place yesterday while we were on the air, and we aired a little bit of it. It was quite an interesting second half as the Hogs had a 20-point lead and it evaporated to a 1-point lead. It's because the Hogs only shot 32% in the second half, but they end up getting the big win, 72-68. But Conrad, kind of take the listening audience through the very end of the game because a very bizarre situation took place in which John Calipari had a very interesting way to end that game from a coaching standpoint.
Yeah, Pat. Well, he has unconventional coaching methods, as he described it after the game. But yeah, if you weren't watching, essentially the situation, Arkansas's up 3 points. John L. Davis is at the free throw line. There were, 3-4 seconds left in the game. And Coach Cal tells John L. Davis to miss the free throw because according to Coach Cal, you miss the free throw, then South Carolina is going to have to go and heave a full court shot to tie the game and send it to overtime. The problem with that is if you hit the free throw, you're up by 4, and then you're guaranteed to win the game, right?
You can literally ask your 5 guys to just start walking off the court.
Correct.
Yes.
And so thankfully, John L. Davis tries to miss the free throw and ends up banking it in instead. So Arkansas goes up 4 points and then they win the basketball game. And Coach Cal probably just should have kept his mouth shut after the game and just let it be what it was.
But he didn't because he's Coach Cal. So this is what Coach Cal had to say after the game about the situation Conrad just described.
He tried to miss it. He shot it flat and banked it in. You're up 3 and there's 2 seconds to go. Miss it. By the time they get it, there's a second. Now, the other side of that is what if they throw one deep and bank it in? But I've done it before, so I do some unconventional stuff. And he banked it in, and I was like happy.
Man, I'm not making light of this. I'm not doing this for shock value, but those comments and what happened and transpired at the end of the game and him giving his rationale, that makes me very concerned for John Calipari and his mental health moving forward.
It's concerning.
Seriously.
I mean, everybody watching at home, I know a lot of the times we say that, I could have done that. I would have done that differently and I would have known what to do. I think in that scenario, 99% of the people watching had a better idea of what to do in that situation than Coach Cal.
Well, here's the thing. And listen, I mean, he was at Kentucky. I don't remember him. I mean, just within the last 2 weeks, some of the things that he has said, I don't remember him going down that road at Kentucky. But Molly, when you posted the audiogram the other day of our discussion on the show on what he said about not caring about the SEC tournament, the Kentucky fans that listened to this radio show and got a glimpse of that clip, they were very quick to point out to you on the comments that this was very typical and normal of Coach Cal.
Yeah, they were kind of saying in the comments of the video, this is why Kentucky fans were ready for him to leave. He was acting like a used car salesman and using those tactics. And even some Arkansas fans were in the comments like, well, we don't care. We just want them to win games. So you kind of had a little bit of everything. But, like, I remember one fan said, like, oh, Kentucky fans were fine with it. But then, he started losing first round of the NCAA tournament. And that's kind of when fans started to question.
And I meant it with all sincerity. This makes me worry just about where he is in this stage in life that maybe Coach Cal's slipping a little bit. And look, it's not like he's trying to pull the wool over the eyes of a fan base that has not experienced the ultimate success in being at the pinnacle, winning national championships, competing for national championships. I'm going to be very interested to see what Ty Richardson says when he joins us at 11:30.
Yeah, he'll join us from the wonderful Bridgestone Arena right before they get ready for their tip-off. So Arkansas, now they have won 6 consecutive opening round games at the SEC tournament. That is the most since they have joined the Southeastern Conference. Think about that. Because Nolan Richardson and 40 Minutes of Hell.
Those teams.
I know.
Scotty Thurman.
That's crazy. I did see, and speaking of that, you saw
God rest his soul.
Oliver Miller passed away,
Yep.
and man, he was
Big O, man.
He was a special ball player, man.
He had
was good.
he had the wingspan. Wasn't it like a 7-foot wingspan? But his wingspan was just about as tall as he was.
Yeah, so I saw that last night. That's horrible news that he passed away. South Carolina's loss, that was their 7th against an SEC team that was by 5 points or less. So if you're a South Carolina basketball fan, what could have been, whatever the case may be.
They missed too many bunnies, Conrad.
Oh,
They had too many easy opportunities at the bucket late in that game.
I was about to say at the very end, we're just sitting here like, what are you doing?
Arkansas is giving you every opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Lazy catches on passes.
So speaking of John Calipari, he now has 25 SEC tournament wins, which ties him with our good friend Wimp Sanderson for the 3rd most in the history of the SEC basketball tournament. 3rd most, 25 wins by Coach Cal. So we got the game at noon today, Arkansas versus number 8 Ole Miss. This is the highest seed Ole Miss has earned since 2021. The Rebels lead the SEC and are 4th in Division I in turnover ratio.
Are you nervous? You look a little nervous.
No, man, I'm good.
Okay.
I am fantastic.
I just know you have a lot on the line today with Hottie Toddy.
I do have a lot on the line. Yesterday was not a good day.
Yeah, I'm glad yesterday was the day that I found to dip my toe in the water.
You still have that
fun that is
$12?
tournament basketball. No, I got his $12. I did not burn Rob from Helena's $12, but I'm $4 poorer today.
Because you did Georgia, right? Did you get Georgia or Navy? Which one did you play?
Actually, I took Georgia. I didn't get in time for Navy.
Navy. Okay.
I missed the tip.
Because you texted me and told me Georgia. Now,
Yeah.
don't feel bad. I took Georgia too.
Okay.
So.
Well, yeah, it's crap.
They looked pretty good for a while.
Yeah. Hopefully Mike White goes to Raleigh. Just go. I can't even look at you anymore.
Oh boy. Okay. So Arkansas Ole Miss. That's at noon, and we'll do look-ins throughout the show from Nashville play-by-play, courtesy of the SEC Radio Network. Second game of the day, you had Texas over Vandy, 79-72. For at least one day, it appears that Texas is involved in the conversation, maybe, for the NCAA tournament, because Conrad, according to Joe Lunardi, they are still in trouble.
Yes, he currently has them as the first team out of the tournament is the way that you would look at it. And so, yeah, you would need to win today. With a loss, I don't see a way for them to get in the tournament, but I'm sure that Texas A&M is very excited to know that potentially the postseason fate of the Texas Longhorns
Isn't that awesome?
resides in their hands today. And I think that, that game is going to be fantastic. But no, I mean, credit to Texas. After the way that the season ended against Oklahoma, Trey Johnson had the worst game he's had all season to bounce back and beat a very good Vanderbilt team. I thought was very impressive. I was upset, Landrum, because Trey Johnson ended up with 19 points and not the 21 that we were looking for yesterday.
Right.
And that was absolutely brutal. But other than that, no, big win for Texas. And Rodney Terry gets to keep his job for another day.
Yeah, at least for one more day.
Closer, though.
Closer.
Johnson averages 20 points per game, and he had 19.
Yep.
And yesterday, the more or less was 20 and a half.
Unbelievable. The Doors have now lost 3 straight games and have not looked the same since they won their 20th game of the season. And once everyone says they're in the tournament, they have not played well since then.
They're tired, Pat.
All right, so you got the big one, which will be after Arkansas and Ole Miss. It'll be Texas against the 5th seed, Texas A&M. The Aggies lead Division I in offensive rebounding percentage, and second chance points per game this season. But I think we can all agree if Wade Taylor does not have a good game, Texas may pull the upset. That's just the way Texas A&M has been this year.
Yep.
If Wade Taylor is on or he's going, and I'm not talking about like going for 25 or 30.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just going for his 15 to 19. Then all of a sudden the Aggies are a completely different team. But we saw against Auburn, this Aggie team, they can frustrate you.
They can.
And they play very good defense.
And remember in that game, Pat, they were uncharacteristically really good from the floor in that first half. And they normally don't shoot it that well. Rebounding is their strength and just that gritty style. But I think Texas, for whatever reason, and part of it's probably the rivalry, but they match up pretty well with Texas A&M, and we've seen that in two competitive matchups already in the regular season.
Yeah, they split.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens there. The next game, the early game for the evening, it was number 10 Mississippi State. Just could LSU season just end?
Josh Hubbard, man.
91-62. LSU finished the first half. They were 1 of 16 from the field.
It's like St. Mary's.
Went the final 10 minutes without a field goal, and they trailed by 20 at halftime. Hubbard, again, I mean, when he's on, he's a special ball player. 26 points. That's Mississippi State's 5th straight win against LSU in basketball.
Yeah, they got their number. And you jack up 43s and you knock down 15.
How about this
Not
stat?
bad.
The last 3 years, LSU has the most losses against SEC opponents than anybody in the conference.
Hate that for him.
Wow.
'Cause, I mean, South Carolina was not bad last year.
No.
Well, this is good for them, though. It gives them more time. They get a head start on talking about Alabama football.
Yeah, a reporter asked McMahon, and they said, "Hey, what do you think about the NIL situation? Next year since you're officially coming back." Blah 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 blah. And he goes, "Well, I don't know the number, but I just know we'll have better players." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds like a very confident individual."
It's also not a particularly high bar based on what we just saw.
Well, this is not an LSU thing, but in talking with people and just given whether it's college football, college basketball, coaches, and the poaching thing, I mean, that's going on in college basketball. Rest assured, how many of those guys already off that LSU team have given somebody their verbal that they're going to go somewhere else?
Maybe McNeese.
Where does he end up?
Yeah.
I was thinking, well, Will Wade and Burnt Orange there in Austin, Texas. Is that too much? But they would be ballsy enough to do it.
We'll see. There's a lot of rumors about him and some other places as well. So then you've got, obviously, Mississippi State now will take on Mizzou. Mizzou's been the story of the conference this year, going winless last year, 0-19, including the tournament.
Story last year.
Yeah. It's just positive this year. The Tigers are the only team in Division I over the last 45 years to win 10 conference games after going winless. First time that's happened in 45 years. So they'll play this afternoon. Then you got Oklahoma last night, the game that we were talking about. Unfortunately, Georgia did not cover. They did not win the game. 81-75 the final. Oklahoma had a 16-0 run late with 7 minutes left to go in the game. Jeremiah Fears, 29 points, including 13 in the first half. The Sooners made 10 of their first 18 three-point shots. That'll do it. That'll play very, very well. So it's them against Kentucky. The Cats are second in the conference in scoring offense and league games, but they're also second to last in scoring defense.
Yay!
So I don't even know what the over-under is for this game, but I would strongly lean towards the over.
You hold on there, Sailor. I will get it for you.
Based on that. Molly's already got it.
Oh.
Molly's on top of things.
Yeah, Molly.
161.
161. Yeah, I like the over there. But
I will confirm that. I've got it at 161.5.
Oh, that's good that you confirm Molly.
Thank you.
I thought you said 161.
I did. I just forgot the
I
half.
included the half.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Details. People like me that are jumping in for the first time today, Molly.
That half point.
Their
really
$4 means a lot.
Yeah, that half point. So are you playing Rob's money today?
Yes, I'm going to play it today.
Okay. Good.
I'm going to go. Should I go straight chalk or should I mix it up?
Get a little spicy with it.
A little spicy?
Yeah. Come on.
Who would be the spiciest pick today?
Just in the SEC?
Yeah.
Texas.
All right, he's going to blame you.
I go Texas.
All right. We'll do it.
So you're going to Texas?
Horns up, baby.
Wow, you have changed your tune.
I know. I was telling Damien this morning, I was like, man, I have to root for Texas today for the good of the conference, right? Because if they get in, we'd get the 14, that sweet number that we've been looking for.
Who do you think Bruce Pearl and Auburn quietly are rooting for today? You think it's Ole Miss? Or you think it's Arkansas? I know that the differences in the scores of their matchups,
I think Ole Miss.
their head-to-heads that they had.
You said that he's rooting for or against.
Like he would want to play Ole Miss over Arkansas, maybe. Because you've already beaten them twice this year.
Yeah, but that's the key.
Yeah, that's
beating
fair.
a team 3 times.
That's fair.
See, I think it would be the matchup would be better against Arkansas.
I think another crack at Arkansas. Shoot it a lot better than you did the last time that you played, and take 7-footer and get.
Well,
a
and
little
even if
payback
they get
on
up
him.
to a big lead, as we saw yesterday, you feel pretty good about your chances to come back. So,
because if you listen to Bruce Pearl, every time they played Ole Miss, I mean, he thinks a lot of Chris Beard.
Yeah,
and I think Chris Beard is, someone from a defensive standpoint, he could create some, and playing him a third time,
right?
So we got a lot of basketball talk that we will continue to discuss. Rodney Orr is going to join us at the top of the hour. We will get his thoughts on Alabama as they got the big win against Auburn over the weekend. They get ready to play on tomorrow in the quarterfinals. We'll also hear from Rob Pate. We'll talk to Rob about Chad Baker-Mazara and his thoughts on, if anything, in regards to moving forward with him. Ty Richardson from Nashville. Dave Shoemate from SEC Unfiltered. So we've got a loaded show. And we'll do a check-in on that Arkansas-Ole Miss game as well. Keep it tuned right here. This is 3-Man Front on Jocks 94.5.
We continue here on this Thursday, three-man frontlands from Pat, Conrad, and Molly. SEC Tournament Day 2. Ty Richardson live from Bridgestone Arena there in the Music City as we preview Arkansas and Ole Miss. That is going to be the first tip of the day. Ty joins us at 11:30. And coming up at the top of the hour, Rodney Orr of Tider Insider. We will talk all things Bama and never know what we're going to get into with Rodney as well. And Rob Pate talking Auburn. Coming up at 11:45. We also invite your text, 205-834-9450 on the Jocks text line. But I always tell you about Dobbs Ford. Dobbs Ford right there on Parkway East in Birmingham. You can get a great selection, but you're going to get wonderful people that you get to deal with. And unfortunately, we don't get to say that about all of the customer service that we might get from time to time. You're going to get it at Dobbs Ford. Go see and feel the difference. Alabama's largest showroom selection from the F-150s, the Mustangs, the Broncos, the Broncos Sports, the Escapes, and the Explorers, and a great pre-owned selection as well. Don't forget, they also have 2 certified diesel mechanics. You're going to love the experience. It's Dobbs Ford, Parkway East, DobbsFordBirmingham.com. Go see and check out the selection. Meet those wonderful people and make sure you tell them Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
So we were telling you yesterday that there were some rumors going around about Mike White at the University of Georgia. Now, some of the Georgia fan sites, both On3 and 247, they've kind of poo-pooed that idea that Mike White would be interested in going to NC State. One of the guys that covers NC State for many, many years, he had reported yesterday that he had heard that Mike White was the number 1 person on the list. Would you guys like to take a guess on what the buyout for Mike White is at the University of Georgia?
Buyout is
$9 million.
Okay, I would go less than that.
Are you being a smart aleck, or you really mean that?
Well, I didn't. I thought the way you were phrasing it, because I was thinking, okay, it's gonna be like $2 million, and then when you asked that, I'm thinking,
Conrad, I'm like you, but I've
I
decided you can't. The way that he sets it up,
Yeah.
or just looking at anything else.
You guys are trying to read too much into my presentation.
Well, you used to have some tells, and now you don't.
It's gotten
You've cleaned them
harder,
up.
Well, I mean, I review tape. I don't want to give signals away.
Well, you self-scout.
Yes,
That's exactly what you do.
have to every day.
But
Okay,
Conrad
so
says
then $2 million.
9. I will say that it is $3.1 million.
$3.1 million. Are you going over or under that?
I'll go under that.
Under 3.1 million.
I'll go 2.
You already had a guess.
You said
Yeah,
9.
You're stuck at 9.
Okay, then I'll stay at 9.
I'll go 2.
You go 2.
Of
Yeah.
course you will.
God, please be a big number.
5.7 million.
Okay.
Oh.
I guess I'm going to the showcase.
5.7 million. Now, this was the scenario that they were kind of talking about on the Georgia sites. They feel like NC State, that ain't going to happen because, one, they had to pay Keats $7+ million to get rid of him, and then you're going to turn around
So it's really like a $12 or $13 million buyout with him. Yeah.
and get Mike White, and then get assistant coaches. And on top of that, your NIL last year was reportedly about $2 million in Raleigh. So I'm sorry, I don't think NC State's gonna go that route. So anyway, forget about that for Mike White. Here's the other scenario that they are worried about with Mike White is they believe a couple of jobs could come up in the SEC that he would be in line and potentially would be interested in. One would be Texas.
Yes.
Because I read another story this morning that said Texas would not be willing to go with Will Wade. That Wade wants that job badly.
Sure he does.
But Texas is hesitant to pull the trigger there. So they believe that Mike White would be someone that they definitely would be interested in Austin. If Chris Beard goes to Indiana, Mike White played basketball at Ole Miss for all 4 years with the athletics director at Ole Miss.
Mr. Calder.
They believe that he would take the Ole Miss job to go back to his alma mater
Interesting.
and play for his teammate. That's the one that they're the most concerned about. So if you start looking at the dominoes falling in regards to Mike White, who obviously is now a very hot commodity. And you would, I don't know what Chris Beard's buyout is at Ole Miss. Try to find that if you can, Conrad or Molly.
I don't think it's very much. I think I looked it up. They have given him, I think, some outs where if a big time job did come open, and Conrad can double check it, but
Hang on. I want to make sure that this is right. This says, oh, okay, that's if he's fired.
Well, there's always a possibility of that.
That's on the table.
Okay. Looks like 4.5 million.
It's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, if you're,
for a Chris Beard.
yeah, well, I'm just thinking, okay, so Indiana turns around and pays Ole Miss $4.5 million, and then Ole Miss takes the $4.5 million and puts towards Mike White, and so you're basically paying $1.5 million to get Mike White out of his contract at Georgia.
Well, I mean, let's think about it. $4.5 million to get a guy who has gotten a team to a Final Four, played for a national championship.
Well, and obviously Ole Miss got him at a discount.
Well, sure.
Yes.
So they were able to kind of dictate certain terms. So that's kind of the Mike White scenario. Don't know if you saw this story. Landrum was just telling me he was up at 3:00 this morning. Did you see what happened at Minnesota?
I saw the comments.
So Minnesota's head coach Ben Johnson, he apparently was fired at like 2:00 this morning.
Yeah, I didn't get
You
that
just
alert on my
confused
phone.
me for a second. I was like, he went to the Bears.
No,
not
Ben
the
Johnson.
Vikings.
Ben Johnson was a Canadian. Was it Michael Johnson? No, Ben Johnson was the Canadian sprinter that got busted for steroids.
Correct. Ben Johnson was the Minnesota men's basketball coach till about 2:00 this morning. Actually, it was 2:19 a.m. Eastern time.
Ooh.
They lost in the Big Ten tournament to Northwestern. We'll talk about Northwestern in a minute. Don't know if you saw those interesting comments from Collins. Anywho, Johnson went 56-71 for the Golden Gophers.
That's solid.
Golden Gophers.
There you go.
There you go.
But what was so interesting about this story is that the athletics director for Minnesota is on the NCAA selection committee. And he was in Indiana. And he was doing his job on the committee as they were having their first votes yesterday. They were going through everything. And then once Minnesota was tanking, he slipped out and flew back to Minneapolis in the middle of the night to show up when they got back from the tournament and fired him. Got rid of him. And the story is that Minnesota didn't even have $2 million of NIL for their roster.
Big Ten.
It's going to be a fun job for
That
somebody.
program, no excuse.
So we've got two instances within the last few weeks of guys that have been fired. And I mean, first off, Ben Johnson played at Minnesota. He was 56-71 in his tenure there. Obviously, Keats at North Carolina State, he got to a Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, he got to a tournament a few times. But both instances, you had a reported NIL of less than $2 million for a basketball roster.
It's not going to cut it today.
No.
And I have no idea what the LSU number. I was told that the LSU South Carolina number was around that same number, and you saw what LSU and South Carolina did this year in SEC play.
Yeah, I don't see how you expect to compete at under $2 million. And I think Jimmy Dykes, what he said during the broadcast of IBOB Part 2 this past weekend is you can't outcoach recruiting. Now, you can have some compliment players. You can have some role guys, and every now and then you get one of those incredible stories about the kid who was the gym rat, and he overcame all kinds of obstacles, and those are fun. But you got to get talent because everybody else has talent too. LSU had good talent this year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at these teams in the SEC that are, even your bubble teams. I know they're bigger programs, but, your Jeremiah Fears at Oklahoma, your Trey Johnsons at Texas, like, you've got to have a guy like that if you're going to compete at the highest level.
Well, for flu, pollen, and allergy season, keep your home cleaner with Trane's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner. It removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those contributing to allergy and virus, and is proven to be more effective than standard and HEPA air filters. So contact a Trane dealer for the Clean Effects Air Cleaner.
When we come back on Three Man Front, it was a big day yesterday after the show. I know so many of you have tweeted in, you have texted in, you have sent direct messages to Conrad to ask if he was okay. It happened yesterday. We'll give you an update on the Stinky Fish Challenge next on Three Man Front. It's 10:35, Jocks 94.5. I want to take you back to the football season. We're just having a general conversation with Conrad Van Order, our resident Alabama football fan. And he started bragging about how bad they were going to beat Vandy and probably going to play for the national championship again and all this kind of stuff. And so we're like, okay, well, tell you what. Because Molly and I had seen a bunch of stuff on TikTok. It's this surströmming challenge. And so we said, okay, well, if Alabama loses this year.
Best thing that TikTok ever put out, by the way.
Yes. And Conrad's like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. I said, we're not going to lose. No big deal. Well, who would have thought that Vanderbilt would have been the game, especially after Alabama took care of Georgia. So Landrum, through his connections at the State Department, was able to be able to work it out with the ambassador from Norway. And he got some fermented herring, also known as surströmming. And we have had it in our possession for what, 6+ months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've just waited for a time in which, we would be able to hopefully have a very hot, humid day outside that we could take him outside and make him undergo the challenge. And so yesterday was that day. We did not stream it live. We had a multi-camera shoot. Matter of fact, we had play-by-play and special color analysts from famed UAB former head coach Bill Clark. We had fans from.
I love how he walked up and I just on the spot was like, "Hey, will you be the color analyst for Conrad?" And he had no idea what Conrad was going to be doing.
But he enjoyed it. He embraced it.
He's a good sport. Yeah.
We had people from the building next door.
Yeah,
we did.
Thank you for listening every single day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's who those random people were?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't recognize these people. I don't know why they're here, but okay.
He does not work at Homeland Security, by the way.
Oh, okay.
There's another guy.
Yeah. But he came over and he watched the festivities. Appreciate Gringo. Gary was there with his bag in case
He was.
In case something happened.
What was really cool is when we got down to the parking lot to get everything set up before you guys were down, the guy that works up here on top of the mountain was already here in the parking lot. And he's like, hey, I listen to the show every day and I'm here to watch.
Yep.
And
Wow,
so I
you
was
have
like,
fans.
yes.
I don't know if I have fans, Molly, but
So basically what happened was Conrad, after the show, he went and he changed into his patented Tua jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And his face when he walked around the corner and he saw the mass group of people that was standing outside waiting to see this, I think it kind of threw you off a little bit.
yeah, well, I thought it was going to be, Sniffles over here because he can't smell anything. So I figured Pat would be out there. Landrum would be watching from a window. Molly probably watching from a window as well to keep a safe
No, the
distance.
suit did that. The suit did
Yeah,
not come down there. He said he watched it from above.
Yeah, and so no, but I
suit did not want to be involved in any kind of wrongful death lawsuit is what
Yeah,
what that was.
He wanted to be far away from that as possible.
But you made it so far.
Yeah, when I came in this morning and said, well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to do the show today. I'm filing a lawsuit. The look on his face before I told him it was a joke, he was like, oh, crap. Here we go.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, that's not good.
Or if you're going to do that, do it at the end of a week before a big vacation.
Yeah. All right. So Molly, is it up now?
I'm sending it to myself right now.
Okay. So we're in the process of uploading the video. Molly's done a great job.
Great job, Moz.
She put
I
all
was
of
up
the.
until 4 a.m. last night editing it.
You're such a liar.
I don't believe that at all. You were in bed by 8.
There's no way she was in bed by 8.
Yeah, I love 2 hours after we got done, Pat hit me with so Molly's editing the video and we're having some audio issues, so we may have to do it again.
Molly's got
we're not doing that
the
again.
curlers in the hair. Exfoliating the top of her hands. Just getting ready. Just getting ready for bed at 8:45.
Mm-hmm.
After the best of Wheel of Fortune.
She wasn't going to be watching Big Ten basketball, so she had nothing else to do.
Well, my team's not in the tournament.
That's why you're not watching Big Ten
Yeah,
basketball.
I know. Touchy subject, Pat.
That's why I want to take a shot. All right, so you need to follow us on YouTube. Go to the Jocks 945 YouTube channel. Of course, hopefully you're watching us right now.
Hello.
You can go and you can watch it in its entirety. What's about 5, 6, 7 minutes?
About
Something like-
6.5.
6.5 minutes. Okay. And so
There's a couple of special guests that make an appearance.
Yes. Some special folks.
Like that I'm not even aware of?
No, you weren't.
Y'all got that Tua cameo, didn't you? Y'all are too nice.
Just.
Why don't you
have to
just
watch the
wait?
You just need to
video.
go watch
You
it.
can't have anything nice, can you?
You always jump ahead of things.
Okay.
I'm going to be, I'm gonna try to refrain. I was a little tough on you yesterday. I felt a little bad about giving you so much crap about not being able to change a tire as a grown man, but maybe you're not grown yet. I thought I'd bring it up again.
Thank you. I appreciate
It's a
it.
good way to do it.
It's okay. I'm sure my dad appreciates all those jokes because he probably thought the same thing.
I'm sure
in
your
that
dad did.
situation.
You know what? I felt like I was taking the place of your dad because I felt like a dad without a
Aw.
kid. Just couldn't believe it.
Well, it's up.
All right, good.
Mhm.
That's
It's
nice.
finally here.
Are you going to submit it for an award?
Of course.
It's got to be up for something.
Look at him. He's in there trying to find it.
You
He
just
wants
can't
to-
wait, can he?
It's finally here. Breaking Conrad.
Some of the still shots that we have of you, they will be used at a later date.
Oh my
Pat
goodness
did send me
gracious
one,
alive! There is did you send him that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was
That-
like, oh,
one of them's real bad.
Oh.
Real bad.
If we were going to have like a Netflix X-rated Tom Brady celebrity roast, then that would be blown up and be the backdrop for the stage
Thank you. I appreciate it.
with Pat's photoshopping skills.
It's not done.
I still can't believe you took off your shoes.
Well, they had holes in them, so I didn't want to in case I vomited through the shoes or something. I
Oh.
didn't want that to happen. I guess I should have thought about that before I wore those shoes yesterday.
You know,
but-
I thought
Yeah.
about it because he made it through it, and maybe he didn't suffer as much as I would have liked for him to. But I mean, he suffered, but we just threw the rabbit into the briar patch. This is a guy that has waffle stomped. We know what his shower habits are. Obviously, gross stuff does not mess with him. If we'd have just made him wear socks and shoes that don't have holes in them, that would have been torture enough.
Well, so here's the thing. You'll have to watch the video. There's a little bit of controversy involved
Yeah,
in
thank
this,
you.
Yeah, a
in
little
this
bit.
challenge.
And you know what? For another $50, we can do it again. Make it
Yeah.
official.
because, he strategically
Yeah.
broke the can open.
I
Uh-huh.
did not strategically break the can opener.
That's a little thing I did when I had to mow the grass when I was 11 years old. Just mow over a big rock.
Yeah. And then
And
your
about the
dad
third
says,
time that happened, he said, "No, you're going to go with a rotary. You're not getting an engine."
I needed an industrial strength can opener. Did you see how thick that thing was?
Well, we
was-
weren't going to use
yeah.
I wasn't going to use my good Cutco.
That
one
wasn't
from
a
home.
can of soup. It's a little more difficult than that. Plus, it had been sitting inside for 6
Well, the lid
months.
had tinted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
did.
like blown.
Have to go at an angle.
So the controversy is that he did not get literally, it was probably no more than an inch, right? That he actually
Yeah.
got open.
But
Now it permeated
Oh,
and it,
horrible.
Oh, yeah.
it spewed.
it said hello
Oh.
really
Yeah.
early in the process.
Yeah, it was, the juices were flowing. But I think if you would have gotten the whole thing open,
I agree with you on this.
seeing
Seeing it.
the fish
Yeah.
Mm.
and the more of a permeation of the stank,
Mm-hmm.
you would not have made it.
I think we all would have been knocked out.
I was fine.
Well, you know
Oh.
I would have been done.
I could smell it.
I could smell it too, but
I was about to say, you had the
Molly and I
Vapo
both did.
rub,
We
and it
both
still
did.
got
Molly and I
Yeah.
gobbed Vicks Vapor Rub in both of our.
It was so
But
horrible.
Landrum was
Nostrils.
more. He was gagging more than Conrad was.
Yeah, I pulled a muscle in my stomach. That was loud. You guys thought I was putting on. I was not.
No, I know you weren't.
Any catch like that, if I catch a whiff, and that was through Vicks Vapor Rub that I
Mhm.
smelled that atrociousness.
After it was over, I had to put it in a tub of kitty litter and then throw
You're
it in
welcome.
a dumpster to, yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, now everybody at the grocery store thinks I have a kitty.
But the permeating smell through the dumpster and the kitty litter was still the fish. Like you could still smell it through all of that. And it was in a sealed container. I don't know how people eat that.
Well, it's the caviar of the Baltic.
Glad I don't live there.
All right, so you can go to the 3-man front. Actually, it's the Jocks.
No, it's on 3 Man Front.
No,
Well, it's on
man,
our Twitter, but the Jocks YouTube. Yes.
I'm just trying to confirm.
NoSmallFeet.com as well.
So you can go to the Jocks YouTube channel, but you can also access it at the 3-man front Twitter page, which is at the number 3-man front on Twitter. Love to hear reaction on Conrad. I don't even know if you would say it was a success
I don't know.
or a failure.
No, I mean, people are going to always want more, me included.
There's been controversy with every single one of these things we did. The chicken
Yeah, you
wasn't
failed them all.
what we initially agreed to. The donuts were not warm.
Oh, now you're going to blame the can opener.
The donuts weren't warm.
No, they
Oh,
weren't warm. They weren't fresh.
I'm about to lose it right now.
And then
Just stop. Just stop.
I'm just saying.
You are the bee under my bonnet today, big boy.
More three-man front. This is Jocks 94.5. You can go watch Conrad do the Stinky Fish Challenge from yesterday. Molly, comments are coming in already on Twitter, and some interesting comments already about Conrad and his activity yesterday.
Yeah, thank you, Troy, for this one. This one might be my favorite one I've ever seen. Forget changing a tire. He doesn't know how to use a can opener.
Was that the first time you've ever used a can opener?
No, I've used a can opener before. I know how to use a can opener.
I question that because what does he eat for lunch every day and what does it come in?
That's right.
Ugh.
In a zip pouch.
He eats tuna and it comes in a Ziploc.
Yep.
Now, if I'm being honest, the amount of times I've used a can opener in my life, probably about 10. But I have used one before in my life.
Well,
Man.
number 11 was a failure yesterday.
Well,
You can go and watch.
somehow I figured that would be the prevailing takeaway for a lot of people.
I just feel like we did not get exactly what we paid for, Landrum, in regards to what we expected. The whole thing should have been opened.
Yeah, I mean, there's technicalities, and I like that we give ourselves room for technicalities where we'll have to do it again, potentially. I just wonder, is that the stinkiest fish, or is there potentially dark web stuff that we could get that we could maybe bring in here for him to to try to consume. We'll just do it off campus.
Just watch out for that botulism.
And botulism will get you.
Mm-hmm.
It's the big B. They can bring on the big D, right?
Yeah, it can. And I will say, based on how it looked and the part of the can I did get open, I can't really imagine that it would have gone well for me if I had taken a bite of it yesterday. I think I might have died, actually.
Okay, joining us in studio now, he was on site. He was one of the witnesses to what took place yesterday. Justin Armstrong.
Cage fighter.
Yes, cage fighter, award-winning account executive here at Cumulus Media.
Yes.
Oh, I'm blushing.
Congratulations on your Employee of the Month award last.
Oh, that's old news.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Did you get Employee of the Year for the whole entire company? Did I miss that email?
No, I'm not that good.
Oh, okay. All right. You were there yesterday.
I was.
So kind of take us through the situation. You, like me, kind of getting over some sinus stuff. So, but you had an opportunity. You smelled what Conrad was ingesting.
The smell was foul. It was bad. I was very proud of Conrad. I could not.
Okay, off. Turn his mic off.
Yes, Justin. Yes.
Turn his
job
mic
he
off.
did.
This was not you. You did not read the script. You're not
For
supposed
you
to
to
come
say
in here
that it's
and
foul
compliment
given
him.
one of your past occupations, and I won't give that out on the air.
Yeah.
That
It was bad.
that says something.
Well, and when Lando, when he started gagging, that and Conrad was doing a pretty good
spoiler
job.
alert.
I was like, whoa, because Lando was pretty far away. He was not all up on that thing.
Oh yeah, he was like almost in Shelby County.
Yeah, I mean he had the
People could hear me from Elmwood.
I mean that's
The people that are buried.
The people that are I woke the dead and the people that work there.
But that it was very foul. I wish the can would have been open the whole way.
See,
Yeah.
If it would have, this would be a completely different story because Conrad would have hurled everything.
The thing that amazed me, Justin, and Pat told us this, and I don't know what to make of. He's had the stuff he knows, but Pat has told me repeatedly, man, that kind of stuff just doesn't bother me.
it doesn't.
It just doesn't bother me.
My wife
it doesn't bother me.
can echo that. I laugh at all sorts of nasty things that I shouldn't laugh at.
Well, no, and it's not even you laughing at him getting visibly sick. I think everyone agrees that that's hilarious. But for you to be able to look at certain things and smell certain things and not even check up in the least is uncanny.
I can't explain it.
By far, Pat was the MVP. He got all up on that thing while everybody else was running away, had no issues with it.
No.
I'm pretty sure he took a bite of that thing afterwards.
No, I would not have done that.
Well, he
but,
couldn't have.
But Molly was with her secondary camera. Like Molly was almost inside the building.
Yeah,
she was at the door.
I was concerned for Molly. I didn't want her crying. I didn't want to have to hold her hair. I know you didn't. I didn't want you to cry. I didn't want to cry. I mean, we were the two most likely that were gonna.
And they were the farthest away.
We were.
Lando won that award.
Yeah.
So how would you just for those that may not have had an opportunity to smell surströmming, what would you best way to describe it?
Oh man, that's a great question. Yesterday, what did I say? It smelled.
Did it smell like rotted meat?
Well, honestly, it smelled like you were in a very small, maybe a closet, and somebody just rips one that has been holding it in.
So
for a
Yeah,
while.
it smelled like. Have you ever
more
this
gastric?
is a random question?
Is that what you're saying? More gastric?
Yeah, like it to me. That's
By
what it
chance,
smelled
have you
like.
ever ridden by a factory that makes dog food?
Yes.
Ooh,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Kind of one of those hot trash and poo poo. That's
Yeah.
what it smelled like.
That's pretty good.
So maybe like a diaper filled with Indian food that had been thrown out in the middle of the summer on a highway.
You just nailed it.
There you go.
That's it?
Sitting in the sun.
Yep, that's it.
Yep, that's perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
And the thing is
I do love Indian.
Conrad, how what'd you have? That thing was open about
little
an
Molly
inch.
Kafka. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, because Pat and the can, which Leanne, thank you very much for providing the can opener, but it broke. What am I supposed to do? To my credit, if you watch the video, you can see where I'm trying to press it in because I was going for it.
It was
But I was shorthanded.
to have that can barely open and for all of us to smell it as far away as we were.
That's what was pretty amazing.
That tells you how
I
bad it
I
was.
love the initial the sputum.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the
That can was like, I've been sitting somewhere for 7 months and I cannot wait to get out.
Had to wash the
And boy,
jersey
it did.
twice.
Did it just get? I was hoping it got on your beard.
No, it got on my jersey. I had to wash it twice.
How did the fingers smell afterwards?
Very bad.
Yeah,
Very bad.
that's what I was
That one,
a little afraid of there.
that lingered for a few hours, even after a shower and washing my hands multiple
See, I
times.
was
that
unaware it got
lingered.
on your jersey.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
could you smell it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you could.
Oh, I immediately, when y'all left, I took that thing off and I drove home. I took it off and I drove home. I was like, nope,
Did you wash it?
twice. I had to wash it twice.
So Paige didn't get a chance to take a whiff.
She tried to smell my hand a little bit, and she got kind of.
Did she kiss you when she got home?
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She didn't
smart.
congratulate you?
Very smart.
Nope.
Wow.
Did Pharaoh at least hang out with you?
He was a big
Pharaoh
fan.
probably loved that smell.
He thoroughly enjoyed it. Yep. Oh yeah.
Daddy got into some rank today. Come on.
All right.
Ugh.
So Justin,
Yep.
before we let you go,
Yeah.
should we do you think yesterday was kind of I don't know, it was kind of a false start, like we needed to do it again?
Yeah, that was a false start. He got a little bit of a free play out of that. Little
I agree with
encroachment
you.
on the defense, and he got a free play.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that was.
And so the good news is that the video is now out and it is public.
Yeah.
And so I think this needs to be a Twitter poll question of the day. Should Conrad be forced to do the Surströmming challenge again because the fact that he did not get the can open
Yeah.
completely?
And we're
I
a show of the
wonder
people.
how people will vote.
The
I
people
can't
vote.
imagine.
The people decide. That is what this show is.
Yes.
This is your vote. You
So-
decide.
So Molly, we put that poll.
2025.
Molly's getting a poll out there. So we're going to let the people decide.
We know how this is going to go.
No, we don't.
No, we don't, Conrad.
We have
you
so
had
many-
you had so many sympathizers yesterday calling
did.
in. Oh, we got the prayer warriors out for Conrad, and oh gosh.
Well, then today is the day for them
we're
to
gonna
show
hold
up.
a rally outside of your studio. We're gonna protest.
People
Leave
are
him
talking
alone.
about how me and Landrum pick on you
we
too
pick
much.
on you too much. Too much.
Do we pick on him too much?
No,
See?
See,
Thank you, Justin.
thank you.
That is
Unbiased.
the award-winning account executive and
Yes.
employee of the month,
Employee of the
Justin
month.
Armstrong.
He should be employee forever.
Absolutely.
Infinity.
It's good to see you, Justin.
Good to see you, Justin.
thanks for having
I'll
me.
see you. I'll see you at Winn-Dixie.
Go do a double leg
See you there,
takedown,
brother.
It is 11 o'clock, Jocks 94.5. I would like to encourage you to go vote at the three-man front Twitter page right now. Molly has just put up the quote. What is the question, Molly, in regards to Conrad and the Surströmming challenge?
So after seeing the video from yesterday, should Conrad have to do the Surströmming challenge again? Yes, because the can wasn't fully open, or no, he's been through enough.
So listen, whatever the people say, we will do it again. If the people say that, nope. How long did you put the time on that? Can we?
A day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did you already close the voting?
No, absolutely not. Well, I know what
I
Conrad
wouldn't put it
voted
past
for.
you.
And Conrad, just rest assured, I will do my best to manipulate it where we do this again.
Well, I can see
I will
Conrad's,
gladly spend another $50.
Was Conrad's family voting?
his burners are voting.
Yeah, I was about to say, I got about 3 hours to go and make as many burner accounts as I can and vote, so I'm going to be busy.
Well, you're going to be busy watching all the basketball, whether it's tournament action up in Nashville with the SEC or also the American with UAB getting started. Coming up tomorrow, how about Rambler Sports Bar and Grill? It is the best place to consume sports. It is an upscale sports bar. You got a 283-inch high-def projector screen, state-of-the-art sound that goes through the entire house. But also you have video boards, other screens as well. It's just great. It's just wall to wall. They've even got pool tables if you're into that. But they got an award-winning menu from the pregame warm-ups like the Connecticut corn dogs. You want to go with a charcuterie board. It's one of my favorites. You can do that. The handoff and some of the handhelds like the Philly Melt. Or you want to go with the Smash cheeseburger. You can do that. Or the Primetime. They got fork and knife stuff as well, like the Spanish Fort vodka pasta. Or you can go with the Mobile Bay shrimp and grits. All kinds of beer, all kinds of wine, and handcrafted cocktails. And they got specials going on for St. Patty's Day coming up on Friday and also all the way through Sunday. It's Rambler Sports Bar and Grill. They're open for lunch, free parking. They'll validate it for you. They got drive-through service as well. Rambler Sports Bar and Grill, 1630 2nd Avenue South near Railroad Park.
Rodney Orr is going to join us momentarily. A little bit of news from the college football world. Dennis Dodd, who has been a longtime cover of the college football landscape for over 27 years, known Dennis a very long time. He has just announced his retirement from CBS Sports.
Congratulations to Dennis.
So Dennis Dodd is walking out under his terms. So Dennis Dodd leaving CBS Sports. Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. He does this each and every Thursday with us. Appreciate his time very, very much. Rodney Orr from Tider Insider. And Rodney, welcome to the program. And I guess Saturday on your message boards was a pretty good day, wasn't it?
It was pretty good. It was a lot better than the previous Saturday. I'll tell you that.
I can imagine. Man, what a difference, right? I mean, a week makes, especially in a basketball season. We kind of talked with you about this last Thursday. Because unlike football, you lose one game and the world's coming to an end. But in basketball, it's a long season and there's a lot of ups and downs. And the Alabama team that had lost 4 of their last 6, they go to the number 1 team in America, the toughest venue to play in America, and they get the win against your cross-state rival. That was huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think obviously it was. I mean, that stretch had been really tough for Alabama and played extremely well. Of course, they were playing top competition too, so give them credit, certainly. Then you go down there. I'll be honest with you. I think even on your segment last week here, I kind of was expressing some doubt myself about Alabama's chances going to Auburn because I know it was a really big game. Obviously, anytime these two play, but it was senior day or whatever at Auburn, and they certainly wanted to win the game, sweep Alabama. That would have been big for them. But Alabama went down there. We've seen this basketball team at times this year when they faced adversity, when they're coming off bad performances, which, like you said, Pat, I know Alabama fans sometimes compare basketball to football and that you're not going to have those bad games and lose games, but it's just totally different. And, Alabama's had some ups and downs at times, and they've responded really well. And they did again, Saturday at Auburn to be able to go down there and play as hard as they did against, their arch rival, the number 1 team in the country.
Roddy, how important do you think it is if you ask Nate Oates just to a man this weekend in Nashville? Because we talked at length about, is it really beneficial for a team like Alabama, who's solidly the top 2 seed on the 2 line, or potentially playing for a 1, or for Auburn to go and play 3 rigorous days there in Nashville, as much as we love it as fans. But for Nate Oates, if you asked him, what do you think his preferences would be as he gets ready for the tournament?
Well, look, I mean, as you're asking about winning or losing or, having success in this tournament, I think it's always important to go in with that mindset of winning. There's some Alabama fans, and I think this is kind of what you're asking. There's some Alabama fans that have told me, hey, just soon lose the first game in the SEC tournament and, be rested, ready to go, kind of like we were last year, that type of thing. But, I think it's always good to win, the mindset to win. And so I think that's really important. I certainly think that's the approach they're taking.
It's uncanny because we talk to Wimp Sanderson every Friday on this show, Rodney, and nobody had his teams up better than Wimp Sanderson did when they played in the SEC tournament. I mean, they won a ton of games, won a ton of titles. And what Nate Oates has been able to do in a very short time, it's pretty amazing, not only during the regular season, kind of matching what Wimp did from a number standpoint against top-rate competition, but what Nate Oates has been able to do in this tournament. Last year was kind of the one-off, losing in that opening round to Florida. How do you think the approach is this weekend for Nate in regards to, if we're there, we're going to go after it, we're going to try to win? Or is it, okay, if we do lose, I'm not happy about it, but it worked out pretty well for us last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, you're going to probably just approach it how it happens. But in terms of, look, if you do lose, you certainly, you want to sell. We've still got everything in front of us. But no, I think he goes in with the approach that, we want to win this SEC tournament. I really do. Again, I think it's extremely important to take that mindset. I think that anytime you can win an SEC title, it means a lot. So I think that's the approach that they want to take. The mindset that they want to have is to always play to win. I think that's extremely important, as you start to move forward. Now, again, there are some people that think, if you do lose, it's kind of an advantage for you because you have an opportunity to rest up and all of those types of things. I don't know if that's accurate or not. There's some people that say, you mentioned Wimp Sanderson, there's some people that say, the emphasis they had on the SEC tournament, the success that they had, by the time they got to the NCAA tournament, they were gassed mentally and physically to some extent. Now, again, is that true? I don't know. But they did seem to peak a lot in that SEC tournament.
Talking to Rodney Orr from Tighter Insider, joins us here on Three Man Front on the Higginbotham Hotline. All right, let's talk a little football. So Alabama's off this week from a spring practice standpoint. They're going to get back at it next week. Some of the early storylines or some of the people that you've talked to around the program for the first week. I know it's only been a couple of practices, but what seems to be a couple of storylines that you're going to be kind of honed in on over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we've talked about the quarterbacks, and I think that it was interesting to hear Ryan Grubb for the first time when he talked about, Ty had made the biggest jump from day 1 to day 2. It certainly was complimentary of all the quarterbacks. And again, I think Ty right now is the guy, is where we are standing. Again, he's going to have to take the bull by the horns to, secure that job. But I like where Ty is. And I think, as you look forward, the offensive line is an area that this first week, Caden Proctor was out. Of course, we know he's out for the spring in terms of contact. He's going to have some limited work. Wilkin Formby was out. I expect him. Now, I don't know if he was out Friday, but he was out most of the week, first 2 practices for sure. But I do expect him full speed when they get back. So they had an opportunity to work a lot of young offensive linemen. That's a ton of valuable reps those guys get, whether it's Casey Poe, the redshirt freshman at right tackle, guys at left tackle, Jackson Lloyd. I think that's a name to really remember. Jackson Lloyd, we probably mentioned him already on this segment, the freshman offensive tackle out of California. I think he's a guy that's going to be really an outstanding player as you move along. And I think the wide receiver core, I think that's a group we said that we thought they had an opportunity to make the biggest improvement. And I think that you probably have 8 guys or so right now that they're really excited about. So that group should be one to watch. I think it's going to be a lot better. And defensively, they've got so many guys coming back. But at cornerback, Dejon Lee is a guy that's just drawing rave reviews. I mean, he's 6'4", maybe even taller. And I had someone that observed the Friday practice tell me, he said, look, after watching Dejon Lee in this today in this practice, you don't throw at that guy. He said, when you make some of these throws down the sideline that look like sure touchdowns with his length, I mean, he's really difficult to get it over. So, just a lot of the young players have made a lot of waves, I think, early in that first week.
Hey, you mentioned the wide receivers, Rodney, and not that I don't believe our other guests that have brought this name up, but what do you think about the wide receiver signing, New Jersey Player of the Year, former New Jersey Player of the Year, Latsier Brooks?
Love him. Actually, coach up there that I talked to at Millville, where he's from, have a contact there actually on Tighter Insider that's very connected there. And they've been raving about him from, the day he committed to Alabama. He was a guy that he just did not care about going to combines and camps and all of these types of things to kind of up his stock. It's where guys get all these bumps and the stars and all that. He really didn't care about that. He set all kinds of records up there for touchdowns in New Jersey. He was absolutely a man among boys. Yeah, he wears number 17, and I've got to tell you, he looks a lot like Waddle.
Does he really?
I'm not projecting him. Yes, he does. I'm not projecting that he's, it's hard to do that. But, I mean, his body control is amazing. It reminds me of Waddle going up in the air. You remember back the great game, of course, Waddle had against Auburn. He made some tremendous catches where he went up in the air and, changed his body in midair. This kid can do the same types of things.
That is amazing. Rodney Orr joins us from Tighter Insider. And a fun feature that we have started on this program, thanks to Rodney's benevolence, Rodney is willing to give away one of his VIP subscriptions if you answer the trivia question. Rodney, I assume you have one. I believe I saw it earlier. Would you like to read that question out to our audience, or would you like me? Whichever one you want to do.
Well, I tell you, it's been what Alabama's had 4 players named MVP.
Correct.
In the SEC basketball tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So my question would be, Pat, name those 4 players that Alabama's had that's been named SEC MVP in the journey.
Okay.
And give the years. That's a tiebreaker. How about that?
Okay, perfect. So not only are we looking for the 4 Alabama MVPs in the SEC men's basketball tournament, but also the year that it happened.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And the winner gets a VIP subscription to Tighter Insider. That is a great deal.
That's right.
So we will take phone calls at 1-800-239-WJOX, and the first person to come up with the 4 Alabama SEC tournament MVPs, along with the year in which they won that award, we will get you in touch with Rodney Orr, and you will find yourself a member of Tighter Insider.
Sounds good.
That is perfect. Rodney, have a great weekend. I know it's going to be stormy this weekend, so be weather aware, and look forward to catching up with you next week, and we'll actually have some brackets we can talk about.
Thanks, Rodney.
Yep. You guys take care.
Thank you, Rodney. That is Rodney Orr joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Some takeaways from Rodney. Also, the text line, we haven't really gotten a chance to get into that. 205-834-9450, about 45 minutes away from the first tip of the day there in Nashville. Round 2 of the SEC basketball tournament. Ole Miss taking on Arkansas. Full coverage. Don't go anywhere. 3-man front and Jocks 94.5.
It is 11:18, Jocks 94.5. We'll go to live to Nashville, Tennessee. We'll talk to Ty Richardson coming up from ESPN Radio in Arkansas. They get ready to take on the Ole Miss Rebels.
You got action on that game, Pat?
I do not.
I'm going to go Hogs day 2. More comfortable. Sightlines are
you?
good. Yeah. I'm pulling for your Ole Miss Rebels.
All right, so we got some folks calling in. The question again that Rodney Orr is throwing out there is Alabama men's basketball. They have had 4 SEC tournament MVPs. Who were the 4 players? And you also have to give us the year. 1-800-239-WJOX.
Let's go to Mike. He is first up to try to answer the question. Hey, Mike, welcome in.
How you doing?
Doing well. How
I
are
went
you?
to basketball camp there back in the 80s, so I know it's going to be Derek McKee, 86, 87. You're going to have Melvin Cheatham, 89, 90. And then the last two is going to be recent with Devon Quinn Early in 2021 and Brandon the Shooter Miller, 22, 23.
There it is.
Michael, congratulations,
Hang
man.
on, Mike.
Right out of the gate.
Let me get your info.
Wow. How about that? That was a tough question.
It was a
I mean,
tough question.
you and I were kind of discussing it when
I was
Rodney.
going everybody else.
I mean, that is a very, but yeah. Now, who was it again, Molly? Who were the 4?
Derek McKee in 87, I think, and then Melvin Cheatham in 90.
89, 90.
Yes, 89, 90, and then Javon Quinterly, and then Brandon Miller.
Yep.
2 years ago.
Yep. So those are the 4. So we appreciate Rodney Orr each and every week gives us a little trivia. That was tough.
It was tough because you think about not only Wimp, but how many good players that Wimp had on those teams that either won the tournament, made deep tournament runs. We know how much success that they had there. And we went through, 5? I went through like 5 or 6 names.
That could have easily
been it.
based on their tournament performance that they could have won. So, yes, we appreciate Rodney Orr. VIP subscription for Mike.
That's nice.
Yeah, so congratulations. Let's go to the text line because I know a lot of people want to chime in. We got basketball we've been talking about. We've got the Surströmming challenge from yesterday that the video is now on our YouTube page for Jocks 94.5. Also on the 3-Man Front Twitter, we have a poll question, Molly. How's the poll question going as we speak?
Well, our second poll question of the day, after seeing the video from yesterday, should Conrad have to do the challenge all over again? Yes, because he couldn't get the can fully open, or no, he's been through enough. And right now winning, we've beaten the burners. Yes, he needs to do it again at 60.7%.
Wow.
There's our people.
Wow. 60% of the audience is saying that this is bogus. Yesterday did not happen. Need to do it again.
Text line 205-834-9450. As Pat mentioned, Jason texts into the show and he asked, can we still watch the video of the fish? Yeah. Tell them where it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's on our YouTube page, Jocks 94.5 TV.
All right. Go and check it out. Let's see here. Someone asking if JR is on today. And no, he is actually on tomorrow. So if you want to tune in JR, he's going to be on tomorrow. We got one of our listeners that sends in some of these wager slips. Do you want to know what they got today, Pat?
Please.
All right. St. John's minus 11. This is a 17 parlay, risking $15 to win $760.
Wow.
St. John's minus 11, Iowa State minus 2.5, Oregon minus 1, Ole Miss minus 2, A&M minus 5, Missouri minus 2, Clemson minus 5. Do any of those share a likeness with any of your current wagers?
Maybe St. John's.
St. John's.
Yeah.
Appreciate the text. We'll track your progress. Josh in Huntsville. Leave it alone, man. I'm not going there. Oh, Conrad is officially the Brian Kelly of challenges. Too many excuses. Chicken nuggets too chewy. Donuts not warm enough. Can opener not strong enough. Thank you very much.
And he
Voice of
dances
reason.
like Brian Kelly, too.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Ask Pat, does he feel comfortable taking Georgia Tech plus 25.5 versus Duke today? LOL. That seems like that's a little rich for Pat's blood, but
Yeah, it's a lot of points.
25.5, it's tempting.
You know, my philosophy on those type games is that there's no question I think Duke's gonna win easily. But man, that just opens up for backdoor covers. You know, no thanks.
They ain't
Jimmy
played nobody, Pat.
Jimmy says, all right, I got it. Next challenge for Conrad. Chug a gallon of milk and hold it down for 30 seconds. Free tickets to a Stallions game is my fee for coming up with the idea. We can get you to a Stallions game. I don't know if Conrad's going to agree to that.
I had some friends that tried that one in high school. The Galley Chally.
Were they successful?
No.
Did they slay?
They did not. Doesn't normally turn out too well.
Drake says he just got done watching the Smelly Fish video, and it looks like Conrad wanted to cry. Yep.
There were some excellent editing choices made by Molly.
Thank you.
Another thing Conrad looked like he don't know how to use is a can opener. Yep, exactly. Tell Conrad to put poof on his shirt to get rid of the smell.
What is that?
They added an H, but I'm guessing it's just poop.
No, it's with an H.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it I guess one of those things you would spray in the bathroom or whatever to clear out a scent?
Poof?
It is used for pet odors.
Oh, okay.
So
that's a brand. It's called Poof.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Oh, clever. Okay. I told you about the poopery. They've also got some pods that will clean your toilet. You pre-drop them in there. It's amazing. I sent you that picture yesterday.
I know. You sent me the picture.
I was really excited about it.
I was worried about the next picture that I would get.
Yes. Naturally.
But he refrained, so I do appreciate
me live
that.
on location. Hey man, what are you doing?
Check this out.
Look how clean my toilet is.
Can you FaceTime me right now? Check this out.
Oh. All right. Someone says, time to move on from the food challenges. Make him attempt things a normal man can do.
Wow.
Let's leave that right there.
Wow.
I feel like that was not a mean comment. A normal person can do?
A normal man can do.
I felt like changing a tire was.
Yeah.
That wasn't a challenge. Do you know how to check your oil?
Do you know how to put gas in your car?
Remember when Landrum said he was going to be nice to me today?
I know. It was early in the show, though.
Can you put gas, or do you have someone pump the gas for you?
No, I go where I pay them to do that for me. Come on, Pat.
You got the full serve there in Vestavia?
Where in the world do you got a full service? They have full service in Vestavia?
You don't get gas in Mountain Brook, my friend.
No, it's been a while since I got gas in Mountain Brook, to be honest with you.
No, I don't know if there's. I don't think there's anywhere they do that.
I'll be honest with you. I'm always looking at that digital board on the outside of the store. I got some pretty sketchy places to save on some gas.
Hey, what you need to do?
Oh yeah, I'll go get gas down the street, and Pat will call me, leave, and he's like, "Are you okay? Do I need to stay on the phone with you and make sure you're gonna be all right?"
Well, and also remember, when you pump your own gas, use the green one.
Yes, thank you, Pat.
The D-Cell brand.
Yes, that's the best kind for your car.
It's cheaper too, right? Like significantly cheaper from what I understand.
Just use the green one. You'll be fine.
Add a little sugar.
I've never made that mistake.
Michael says, I suspect foul play or tampering on the can opener. On the do-over, I think you should also invest in an industrial strength can opener. You should also reimburse the person for the broken can opener.
Yes, my wife. Send Leanne the money.
I will do that.
We don't have kitchen
I
equipment.
can't give it to
or
Pat though because it's
utensil
going to go on a bet.
sponsors here on the show or the station, so I feel good about this. I've told you, it is so hard to find a good can opener. Cutco, you will never own another can opener. Get a Cutco can opener. I was not going to ruin ours. Because that,
You
gotta
already
burn it
sacrificed
afterwards.
and you bought the fish, so that shouldn't have fallen on you.
Okay, all right. Hey, did y'all know there's a windjammer in Florida? I was looking at couples getaway destinations and it popped up. Who is this?
Is that what they're calling it nowadays? The windjammers?
Yeah. Windjammer Resort and Beach Club, Lauderdale by the Bay.
Maybe they were talking about that on the morning show.
You and two are going to go hang out? I don't know.
No, it was very nice of him to show up in the video, though.
It was.
As well as Carson
Great job.
Beck.
Carson Beck. That was a great moment.
Because Carson Beck's going through a lot right now, so it was nice of him to.
Oh, yeah.
Take
Is that
some
going to be a
time.
part of the worst thing I've seen?
It should be.
Well, I'll let you do that.
Is it official? Did they break up? Did he cheat on?
According to Molly's sources.
I bet I can find out.
Well, things are off to a great start. They get their house broken into, cars stolen. Now they break up.
Maybe it was the other woman out of jealousy. Just saying.
Hastings chimes in. If you vote no, you should have to do it with Conrad. For his next challenge, you should have to smell the surstroming until he successfully changes a car tire.
All right, when we come back on Three Man Front, we'll go to Nashville, Tennessee. Talk to Ty Richardson from Arkansas ESPN Radio. That's next on Three Man Front.
$11:32, three-man front. Landrum, Molly, Pat, and Conrad. We are less than 30 minutes away from day 2 of the SEC men's basketball tournament in Nashville. As it continues, Alabama and Auburn. Auburn and Alabama, respectively, they're in action tomorrow with quarterfinal action. But we get Chris Beard and the Ole Miss Rebels taking on Coach Cal and the Arkansas Razorbacks to lead us off. And our buddy Ty Richardson, who hails from the great state of Arkansas, but he is in Music City right now, and he is courtside, and he joins us, as all of our guests do, on the Higginbotham Hotline. Happy March Madness, Championship Week, Tournament Week, basketball wall-to-wall. Ty, how are you?
Boy, I'm good. We're in one of the centerpieces of SEC country here in Nashville, and Hawks get a chance for a little revenge day against Ole Miss later on, about 30 minutes.
Yes, they certainly do. All right. Man, I mean this in all sincerity. Coach Cal, his comments about the SEC tournament, I'm sure that was well received just down the road at the commissioner's office. But then his explanation for asking John L. Davis to intentionally miss the free throw, I'm genuinely concerned about his mental health, and I mean that in all sincerity. What were Arkansas fans, a very savvy and knowledgeable fan base who has experienced success, what are they saying about that explanation he gave for the end of the game?
You know what's funny about that, Landrum, is I asked him that question because I had the same puzzled look on my face when that happened at the tail end of the game. It's one of those things where it's like they won, so it doesn't really matter in hindsight. But they had somehow lost that game. Like, he missed it, and then South Carolina chucks it 94 feet, and it goes in, and they lose an OT. I mean, that's one of those where you're just like, what's going on? It's funny now because it didn't affect anything, but, I mean, I will never – I know he's coached more games than I have, and obviously he's got a little more basketball acumen, but I'll never agree with that answer. I mean, it just didn't make a lick of sense to me.
It's interesting, Ty. You know, we talked to you about a month ago, and things were not going very well. And then the trip to Lexington, Kentucky, it seemed like Arkansas started getting their sea legs a little bit. Before, obviously, Nashville, what was the overall general opinion from the fans this year of how this season has gone? Has it been disappointing? Has it been right on par for year one? What do they say right now in regards to the fan base?
Well, I think it's kind of split. I think fans are proud that this team has clawed its way back to an NCAA tournament berth. But at the same time, so you spent the most money reportedly in NIL, and you finished 8-10 in the league, and you're kind of on that fringe 10, 8, 9 seed, probably 10 or 9 to be honest. So, I mean, they're excited how the season is going, but Cal's teams usually play a lot better when it gets closer to March. But it goes back to the stat I always like. I mean, he's got one NCAA tournament win in 4 years. So I'm going to reserve judgment on the season as a whole until what happens next week. If they get bounced in round one, then it's – I mean, I can't characterize it anything other than a failure. And if you're going to and people will say, well, this is year one. That's not a relevant topic anymore in college sports. There's too much money. There's too much access with the transfer portal. Like, you can't use that excuse if you're a head coach anymore. So I think ask me in a week and a half, and I'll have a better answer for you.
What is your belief? Because you're well connected there. Arkansas, some people have said it might be the highest NIL, I guess, what would that be? Budget as far as paying players, NIL roster in college basketball this year. What is it believed to be? What is that number? Just give me an estimate, Ty, what you hear.
Double digits. I mean, it's probably more than football, which is absurd. And, I mean, it got confirmed. Where all things get confirmed on the golf course. Like, we asked someone who's pretty well connected with stuff like this, and it's like, yeah, it's over 10. And so
hold on a second. Let me interrupt. Let me interrupt you. I think you're about to give us the answer. So you're saying that Arkansas basketball NIL was more than Arkansas football NIL was this previous year?
So I don't think anyone is nailed down on the football numbers, but I would not be surprised at all. I don't know necessarily if y'all should make a reel out of that on the
No, we won't.
We won't do that for your sake.
Some people told me that that's the case, and what's going to be interesting is the women's basketball coach just stepped down at the University of Arkansas, Mike Neighbors, and who they go after there. I mean, football's king. You guys know that in Alabama, whether it's Auburn or Alabama, even though they both have great basketball programs. But like, Arkansas basketball is unique, and their baseball team in the sense that, like, fans care about all three major sports, like, desperately. And it's not really like that anywhere else. I mean, maybe you could say Tennessee. Tennessee's pretty close to that with Vitello, Barnes, and Heupel. But yeah, I would not be, guys, if like I actually got a ledger or a sheet and it showed the financials, would not be a surprise at all if the basketball had more NIL than the football team, which is absurd.
Unbelievable. Ty Richardson joins us, ESPN Radio in Arkansas. So what's the vibe up there? I know there's plenty of Kentucky fans there. I know Arkansas fans travel real well. Alabama, Auburn fans, they'll be making the trek up tomorrow, or if not, maybe later tonight, especially if you're Auburn, since you're playing at noon tomorrow. But just what's the overall vibe right now, Ty? You've been to a lot of these.
It's immaculate, man. I love coming to this. I used to live here, and so anytime I get to come back and see old buddies and just to see the fan base is like when you go out and you're in your gear and you interact with others and whatnot. First off, every other fan base is cool except the ones in blue. They're the most arrogant, egotistical, you know what, on the planet when it comes to their basketball program.
Florida fans hate them.
Yeah. I mean, the interactions are great, except when you talk to someone that's wearing a UK on their chest. So it's really unique. I understand why Greg Stanky and his team decided to make this really a permanent home, because it's just kind of the perfect mecca for. And Nashville isn't the biggest basketball city in Tennessee. It's Memphis, but Memphis has its own obstacles, and Nashville it fits. Airport keeps expanding, which I know is big for flights and everything else. So if you're contemplating like, hey, do I want to drive from Birmingham or Auburn, Tuscaloosa, or Huntsville the next day or so, it's worth the trip. Pay the hotel fee, do it for your first time, and I promise you won't be disappointed, especially considering Auburn or Alabama is probably going to wind up in the SEC championship game.
So I know the answer probably is, well, ask me 3 weeks from right now, but based on what we know right now, and there's injuries that played a part of it, but John Calipari, the expectations of the Arkansas fan base and leadership, what would you say is as far as valuation and how he's run this program and the results we've gotten thus far?
I think that he's not going to go about this 9-man roster starting next year anymore. I think that was a mistake. I think it could ultimately showcase itself today against Ole Miss, maybe next weekend in the NCAA tournament. He tried something new. In my opinion, it didn't work, and now he's going to have to readjust. I think the thing with me that I've talked about, Landrum, is if he's got a 5 or 6 year window before he retires, then you maybe if they don't do anything this year postseason wise, then I don't know if wasted's the right term, but you've essentially knocked down 20% of your life in Fayetteville. And it's not like he's 42. He's not Todd Golden's age. He doesn't have a long roadway ahead of him. I mean, we're getting to the end of the line. And so the mistakes that he could have made 20 years ago and corrected and had that treadway in front of him, you don't necessarily have now. So I think, again, I don't know if I get C+, B-, and that might be gracious in some circles, but I'm just proud of the way they've clawed and fought, because this team, when their best player went down in a dew and their starting point guard went down in Boogie, they could have given up, and they were 0-5 in league, and yet they found a way to the NCAA tournament starting next week.
All right, if you had to guess right now, how many teams from the conference get in on Selection Sunday, and how many teams from the SEC make the Final Four?
I'd say 12 from the league. I can't see the NCAA selection committee putting in 13. Now, to whittle those down into what teams might be a little more difficult with the bubble squad. But Final Four-wise, guys, I actually think that the strongest team to make a Final Four is not residing in Alabama. And I know that's odd to hear, but I think it's the one in Gainesville, Florida. They went into Auburn earlier this year. Todd Golden's got himself a monstrous group, not just in the way they play, but they're just huge. Laura Clayton's played one of the best point guards of the year. So I would still say one. I know people are going to say, well, it's too easily. I'd say there's going to be more. It might be more of like a College World Series 4 of the 8 feel, potentially. But I just the SEC still has this thing over its head where they haven't won a national title since 2012. Until I actually see that, I don't know if I'm willing to go out on an edge and say, well, 2 or 3 teams are going to make the Final Four, just because just hadn't happened lately, fellas.
What are the plans for you, extracurriculars? We know that you're big into karaoke and hookah lounges, but besides that, what else?
Hookah, oh gosh. Yeah, I was a little disappointed. I thought Conrad was going to be down here, but evidently I'm too bad of an influence on him that the management team at Jocks didn't think it would be worthy of his time to head this way.
Well, first off, he's on probation. He's on probation.
First of all, he can't change a tire. He can't use a can opener. We're going to send him off by himself? No,
he barely got back from Dallas, Ty. What are you talking about?
That's 2 knocks against him.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got to disclose something. I don't think Arkansas is going to win today. So I have booked a tea time in the afternoon tomorrow at the Governor's Club.
That's
and
awesome.
If they win, that tea time is probably going to have to get canceled, which sucks.
All right, I'm logging in now to my account.
I liked Arkansas today, and
it looks like we're going Rebels
I
now.
appreciate you talking me out of that.
Hey, I asked, just out of kindness, can we not put that on the reel either? Because I really don't want to just get blasted by Arkansas fans for revealing. I mean, I said it on the show today, and I said it on in a TV spot I did yesterday. I expect Ole Miss to win straight up. It's going to be a close game, but I think Arkansas, do you really want to get another quad 1 to potentially be a 9 seed? I mean, how does that help you in the NCAA tournament matching up against Houston, Auburn, Florida, or who's the other one? Duke. Like I just in the second round potentially. I think you'd rather be a 10 or 11 seed and maybe try your crack at a 2 or 3 seed. But what do I know? That was just kind of in my head thinking about that.
Okay, we promise. You've already told us 2 things we can't use, so so I'll have to get Molly to find something very generic.
I feel like I'm censoring 3-man front right now. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about it. It's like, should I have really said that? Probably not, but hopefully it doesn't make its way to social media.
I think you got your post-game question for Coach Cal. Let him work out that little word salad of potential scenarios in seeding and how it benefited them, whatever the outcome was. I can't wait for that quote after the game.
Oh gosh, yeah, he's a quote, man. I'll tell you what. I mean, I like listening to Bruce.
You think he likes you?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I think that's all. I don't think I've asked. I only went to 1 or 2 regular season games just because of our post game schedule. I think this is the first time that I've asked him stuff. To be honest, he probably just think, who is this 30-year-old moron that's asking me these dumb questions? Please give the mic to someone else more intelligent.
Well, say something nice about his dog. That'll pull on his heartstrings. His little toy dog.
Well, hit him straight tomorrow, Ty.
Hey, if they lose, I will. If they don't, we're probably gonna avoid the round. But hey, at least I'll get to play with you guys coming up in July.
Absolutely, we're looking forward to it.
It's done.
Absolutely, looking forward to it. Hey, Ty, take care, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Ty.
Later, fellas.
See ya. Ty Richardson from ESPN Radio there in Arkansas. He joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. We have got something brewing, and I know that we had somebody on Twitter, not Twitter, but our text line asked us about taking Georgia Tech in the 22 points today. It is currently with 2 minutes and 46 seconds to go until halftime, and Georgia Tech leads Duke 26-17. Duke is 1 of 14 from behind the three-point arc, and Cooper Flagg has 2 points. He is 1 of 7 from the field. Duke is shooting 32%.
Oh, and now he's hurt.
He's hurt?
He's on the floor grabbing his ankle.
Oh, give us some play-by-play here.
All right, his teammates are picking him up. He's limping. He's hopping off. Yep, his teammates are helping him off the court. He's hurt.
Have they showed his mom yet in the stands?
Yes, she looks very concerned.
Is she tapping the top of her head?
No, she was holding her hands over her mouth.
What does the injury?
He's trying to. Okay.
What part of the body were you going?
It was ankle.
Was it ankle?
Yeah, all right. He's trying to. Yeah, he's hobbling off the court with the trainer. Yeah. No, he's going to the locker room.
Yeah, we now have it on one of our monitors.
Yeah, he's punching the. Yeah. It based on his reaction, it's like oh crap. Okay, I'm hurt.
Yeah, that looked like the "you got to be kidding me" and it.
Yep.
Ooh, look at his face. He's in
a lot of pain.
That's not good.
He's in a lot of pain. Yeah, he's working with the trainer now on the sideline. Okay. And Georgia Tech just hit a 3.
Well, that's some breaking news.
Here you go. Duke is still a 5.5-point favorite right now. With Cooper Flagg.
Oh, they're going to win this game. I mean, Cream's going to rise.
5.5 points?
Huh?
By 5.5 points?
Are you saying before halftime or for the whole game?
As of right now, for the whole game.
Oh yeah, they're gonna. Duke's gonna win this game.
Now Duke's a 7.5-point favorite. I'm watching this in real time. As Cooper Flagg
goes out, they actually become odds on.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you see the guy with the towel over the face on the bench, that's never a good sign.
So Cooper Flagg, as of this moment, as he exits the game,
You got to think about your future, Cooper. Don't play anymore this year.
2 points. He's 1 of 7 from the field. He's got 4 rebounds. And now he's got the towel in his hands, and he
a big old grapefruit on his ankle, it looks like.
They look very concerned with Cooper Flagg. So we'll keep you updated. I was just bringing it up because the fact that Georgia Tech had jumped out to a big lead over Duke, and now Cooper Flagg is on the bench in pain.
Is that a red flag for you in your brackets?
I wasn't going to have Duke going very far anyway.
Really?
I haven't played anybody in months.
Yeah, since they played Auburn.
Yeah, they beat them.
In Cameron.
Okay.
Is your Cooper Flagg jersey coming in the mail still?
I don't have a Cooper Flagg jersey.
All right, we're going to go to Auburn next. Talk to Rob Pate. This is Jocks 94.5. It is 11:51, Jocks 94.5. We continue to follow the situation that's developing in Charlotte, North Carolina. They have just gone to halftime. Georgia Tech, they lead Duke 31-26, but the big story is Cooper Flagg just a couple moments ago went up for a rebound, and he came down, and he had a severe turn of the ankle, and I'm talking about...
Left ankle just flopped on its side.
Absolutely. So we will keep you posted. He was helped to the locker room, so we will see the very latest as it becomes available out of Charlotte.
If you remember Janai Broom's injury with the ankle versus South Carolina early in the season, this looked drastically worse than that one.
It did look worse. Let's go to Auburn now. Talk to our good friend Rob Pate joins us on the Higginbotham hotline. Rob, that is some bad news if you're a Duke fan, but one thing is for sure, this time of the year, these injuries can change the likelihood of a team making it to the Final Four.
No, man, no doubt, especially in basketball, and a player like Flagg that, I mean, he goes down, and the dynamics of Duke are just totally different. Yeah, you hate to see it. I mean, I don't wish injury on anybody, and the ankles are just, man, you know, I've done that so many times over the course of just athletics, but basketball, my dad hated that I played basketball because of how many times I broke or rolled my ankle. I can't even watch it anymore, man. I mean, I can watch a compound fracture and not get, but if I see somebody roll the ankle, it's like it just shoots back the memories of what it feels like. And, oh, it's terrible. Actually, the first time that happened to me, Landrum, was actually at Homewood High School. And they took me to your training room, and they put my foot in a bucket of water. And the coach sat there, and, man, I was in tears. It was so painful. He kept saying, hey, in 5 minutes, it's going to go numb. And he said that for about 20 minutes, and it never did. And he said, I lied to you the whole time, man. Yeah, I hate it for those guys.
Oh, it's terrible. Rob, when you look at this Bruce Pearl Auburn team, and without going into specifics what happened at Neville Arena, Alabama gets a win in overtime. You never want a loss. Bruce Pearl said, you never want to lose. But now that you look back on it, the week that was last week, how do you think that Bruce Pearl and this team can use that as a motivator, and why that might be a good thing?
Yeah, I mean, for the reasons that you just said, I mean, it is motivation. You always want to play with swagger and have full confidence. And I do think that Auburn's got some kids on this team that have confidence that's lacking a little bit. You know, Chaney Johnson probably being the most obvious. But, you know, I think it's also good to be humbled and to walk in and remember, look, you're about to enter a tournament where you got humiliated by a Yale team that, you were supposed to throttle. And those guys, use that as motivation all off season and the way they began this season. And then you have so much success, it can become an afterthought. And I think losing right before this tournament starts can be beneficial because it shows you the things you need to work on. It shows you that you're not invincible. And it shows that, hey, you need all your best players to be able to stay in the game and play this thing out. So, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you look at the season as a whole, Auburn lost to 2 top 5 teams. I know Alabama's right there on the precipice of that. And then a Texas A&M team that just out-physicaled Auburn after an emotional win. So I think that they're primed to make a good run. And they're going to have great guard play and make some tough shots. But they've got the pieces to do it. They'll still be a hard team to defeat.
In regards to Chad Baker-Mazara, do you think that's been kind of overblown by those of us in the media, or do you think that is a concern moving forward for this Auburn team?
No, it's a concern. I mean, you love the tenacity, and he's the type of player that when he's on your team, then you're gonna appreciate the little small things that he does to get you over the top. When he's not on your team, then he's going to be the easiest guy to hate, in the sport. And I get that. And, I played with guys like that and played against guys like that. And, he's got to be more mature. I mean, he's one of the oldest players in college basketball. He plays with an edge, and that edge gets him in trouble occasionally, and it puts Auburn over the top more times than not. And so, because of that, he's an X factor, and it's a huge one. And Auburn's got to have him with his head screwed on properly. But you can't have a Baker-Mazara go out there and play lifeless. I mean, that's not his game.
Sure.
But you also can't be ejected. I mean, he's got to be able to get to the finish line and to help this team. He's got to put them on his back and carry them. And Auburn needs that big time from him.
There's no doubt about that. Well, Rob, I know it's going to be a kind of a weird weather weekend. I hope you guys stay safe down in the loveliest village, and we look forward to catching up with you next week. We'll actually have brackets, and we'll find out exactly where Auburn's going.
No doubt. Best time of the year, man. I'm excited.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, guys. War Eagle.
Rob Pate joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
We will continue to the following. The developing story out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Cooper Flagg goes down with about 2 minutes and 46 seconds to go until halftime. His Duke Blue Devil team is losing at half to Georgia Tech. And now the concern is, has Cooper Flagg just been lost for the season in his career at Duke? We'll get the very latest when we come back. 12 o'clock hour straight ahead. This is Jocks 94.5. It is 12 o'clock. Welcome back in. This is Three Man Front. Pat Landrum, Conrad Molly with you. So much we've gotten into the first 2 hours of the show, including the failed surströmming challenge yesterday by Conrad. You need to go vote at the Three Man Front Twitter site. What's the update, Molly, on the Three Man Front Twitter poll question, whether we should do this again?
Yeah, so yes, it's still winning, but it's getting closer. We're now down to 56.5%, no at 43.5%.
Okay, so Conrad's family members must be voting as we speak. So we've been talking about that. We've gotten a live report from Nashville as the SEC basketball tournament about to get underway in just a couple moments. But Landrum, the big story today happened about 10 minutes ago in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, Duke opening up play in the ACC tournament, taking on Georgia Tech, and Cooper Flagg, who is up for National Player of the Year. If you've been watching any college basketball this year, you know the name Cooper Flagg. Comes down after going up for a rebound, and his left ankle completely just turns over on its side. And for any of you Auburn fans or just casual SEC basketball fans, again, if you want to compare it to the guy that he happens to be in the running against for National Player of the Year, Janai Broome, and what happened when he was at South Carolina, he rolled the ankle. Janai Broome stepped on top of a player's foot and it rolled. This was direct, lands on floor, and then the foot just flops to its side. It was pretty bad.
Let's just say there's a new video in Pat's injury folder now that he likes to collect of all the gruesome
this
injuries.
this is not quarterback at Mississippi State Egg Bowl when that was Fitzgerald. This is not.
Yeah, or Marshawn Lattimore, or the running back.
But it was bad.
Yeah, it was bad, and I'm speaking from someone. I broke my ankle, and I had to have multiple surgeries. I could not walk for about 8 months. So I mean, I'm not saying he broke it, but he's gonna have some serious ligament damage, I would think. I hate to sound like I'm the internet doctor here that you see on.
Do you think we see
Twitter.
him again this college basketball season?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I just know that severity. There's been times where a doctor will tell you that it's almost better for you to break it than to mess up your ligaments, because at least the break will start healing.
I mean, they were taking him
quickly.
to the locker room in a wheelchair.
Yeah, he was in a wheelchair as they were taking him out of the arena. I suppose they're probably taking him to a local hospital. To his credit, first off, he tried to get up and walk it off.
Oh, yeah.
And then some of his players got him to the bench. And I agree with Landrum. Landrum said this tongue-in-cheek to me during a break. For him to be one of the national potential players of the year, and you had one guy.
Yeah, you would think the whole teammate would be, all right, let's carry him off this field if we were this court.
I would have gotten to the locker room immediately. And I would have whoever your orthopedic surgeon is for Duke. Like, they were just very.
It seemed very casual.
Yeah.
Well, maybe because he was trying to walk off. They're like, okay, maybe it's not as bad as it looked. Maybe
but still, I mean, him and Janai Broome are the college basketball players of the year. And I would just listen. We don't want that to happen to Janai Broome up in Nashville, but if he were to twist his ankle, I guarantee you that there would be multiple Auburn trainers and orthopedic surgeons that would be flocking to him immediately to try to see what's going on, and if something needs to be done, let's get it taken care of.
And they'll have this round of X-rays, and then we will have another one to confirm once he gets back home, is my guess.
Yeah, because I mean, he's going to have swelling. He's going to have certain things that they want it to go down a little bit. I remember when I broke my ankle, they gave me an initial report, and then had to come back the next day, and then lo and behold, I was having surgery.
You can have X-rays, and they're probably outfitted there inside the arena. You've got an X-ray machine that's probably back there.
Yeah, that's an NBA facility. So
if they are loose with their information, and being Duke, I don't know, and being a player's health, but they probably have a good idea in the next 5 minutes, the preliminary and what that looks like as far as the X-ray. You get that back really, really quick.
Yeah, some of the pictures and stuff coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I just sent you one. I'll let you. It's not a gross picture, by the way.
Yeah, I want more dry heaves in me, buddy.
Yeah, I'm going to preface that by just saying I am not sending you a picture of his ankle turning over, which I'm sure will be available very, very soon.
One of our coaches who listens to the show, he said, "Yeah, that was pretty bad," and he's seen a lot of ankle injuries, and he said tightrope surgery immediately.
Possible, yeah. That's what Tua had, and that's becoming, even more present.
Oh man!
And if that's the case, yeah, you're not seeing him in the tournament.
Well, not to mention the fact that you have a situation with him that all indications are he's gone from Duke. He's one and done.
I was about to say he's about to be the number one pick in the draft. You just hope that doesn't.
When is the
the
final Player of the Year award? I know that Sporting News is already done there. When does that come out? Is that after all the nets have been cut down? Or is that one of those awards like the Heisman that they give out while it's still going on? National Player of the Year.
Oh.
Is it the Final Four weekend at the Coaches Association?
Yes, April 11th.
Okay, actually, that's after the national championship game, right?
It looks like, yeah. So they will announce the finalist on April 1st, and then they will have the honors ceremony on April 11th.
If the vote is as close as some people indicate, because you have your old guard and people who are just always going to say Duke, and because he plays for Duke, he's better. But if he misses the tournament because of this injury, do you think he has a sentimental vote? I bet he does.
I was about to say, I don't want to think that would happen, but yes, probably.
205-834-9450. Great news if you're a Pat Smith Ole Miss Rebel sympathizer. Should have listened to Ty. Dang it, Ty. Well, he didn't give me time to change my wager. I got, by the way, it was not $4. I've got $3 riding on this. Ole Miss leading 9-0 right out of the gate over the Hogs. And another picture. It's coming in.
How could you send that to me?
Yeah, that's bad.
That's really bad.
What do you think, Conrad? I just sent you.
I mean, it's like sideways.
Yeah.
At least 4 to 6 weeks.
It's bad. 4 to 6
Oh.
weeks.
Wow.
4 to 6 months.
No, before he can actually just put any weight on.
Oh, yeah. It's like, ooh.
No, he's air casting right now. Excuse me.
Yeah.
You stop drinking during the show, Landrum. Or actually,
it's tournament time.
Or actually, you should start drinking.
Maybe start drinking during the show.
During
Well,
the
if you're
show.
a Duke fan.
Remember the good old days? We used to pound shots right before we come on. I'm just kidding. We didn't.
All right, so Duke is behind at halftime, 31-26, and Cooper Flagg. We will keep you monitored on that situation. Meanwhile, up in Nashville, Tennessee, 17 minutes, 12 seconds to go in the first half. Ole Miss has jumped out to an early 9-0 lead. I have not seen if Lane Kiffin's there. Is Kiffin there?
Wouldn't surprise me if he's in Nashville. He might not have made it in the arena.
Well, he was busy. He was in wherever they were doing the cover shoot for the NCAA football game.
Was he on the cover?
He was one of the coaches.
Because
there.
I saw Franklin.
Yeah, him, I think Ryan Day,
Kirby Smart
James Franklin,
Smart
Kirby, Lane, and Dillingham.
Yeah, but I'm on his Instagram. Ooh, it looks nice.
Yeah, he looks like he's at the beach. Oh yeah, because there's him and Kirby.
Kirby, yeah. And now he's hangry.
Wait, him and Kirby are hanging out?
Oh, and now he's doing yoga.
No. Well,
I didn't think he would do yoga after his breakup.
Touchy subject.
it's brought them back together, I'm sure.
Has
it? The previous, yeah.
Well, speaking about the Ole Miss football coach, the former head coach of the Mississippi State Bulldogs, Dan Mullen, he might ought to ask for all his paychecks up front. Did you see the story that's coming out of Las Vegas? So UNLV athletic director Eric Harper, he told the Board of Regents last week that his department can only cover the costs of the first 2 years of Dan Mullen's contract. It's a 5-year contract, but they only have enough money to cover the first 2 years of his deal.
Hope you're selling a lot of tickets, generating a lot of revenue.
Says at a meeting Friday in Henderson, Nevada, Harper told the Regents that the university's athletic department is $26 million to $31 million in debt.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah. Somewhere Bubba Cunningham's like, see?
He then was asked by a regent, Joseph Araraska, how he plans to pay for Mullen's $17.5 million contract.
Good question.
Because you have $3.5 million for 5 years, you're running nearly $30 million in red. What is the plan to pay the coach, and how is it going to get done? The athletic director said he hopes to raise money through donations and increased revenue from football games to pay Mullen. We have the funds to pay the coach over the next 2 years, the AD said. We have been working with our donors to assist with philanthropic dollars. We have one that has already paid their commitment, and that money is an unrestricted line, and that will be utilized in the future to help with these salaries.
Well, 2 years of paychecks, that'll be about the time that the recruiting slacks off.
Mullen's hiring has increased interest in the football program. UNLV has sold another 970 season tickets for the 2025 season. bringing the total to 5,031 season tickets to the UNLV football program. The university also is increasing prices for single game tickets, suite rentals, and new VIP ticket holders to assist to generate new revenue to help pay for Dan Mullen. UNLV has received $2.5 million in revenue from football ticket sales thus far in 2025. That's up from $1.8 million last year. So that's $700,000 increase. UNLV is also expected to receive between $19 and $24.5 million from the Mountain West Conference in agreeing to stay in the conference. If you remember, they were being courted by the Pac-12. And so UNLV played it smartly. They told the Mountain West, if you want me to stay, you're going to have to give us between $19 and $25 million to stay. And the Mountain West said, sure thing. So they're going to get money from there. So if you think about what happened at Colorado, it's basically the same thing. Colorado was running at a deficit. Football program was in woeful, dire need. So they bring in Deion Sanders. And what did the AD say? The AD openly said, I don't know how we're going to pay him. We'll figure it out. And fortunately for Colorado, it's worked out. I just don't see Dan Mullen exciting the masses in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, granted, the season tickets have gone up for a little bit, but the kind of money that you need to pay him for the next few years.
I was just looking at reaching out to your famous alumni, Jimmy Kimmel.
He
Didn't
went to
graduate,
UNLV?
but he got an honorary degree. Yeah.
Well, then he should make an honorary donation to the football program.
I mean, he bought a bowl game.
Yeah, come on. He loves football.
Well, I can tell you one guy that I
can
know
spend your
that is
money,
a
Jimmy.
UNLV graduate, and that's Nick Khan, who is the current CEO of WWE.
Oh, my
There you
goodness.
go.
The Maloofs.
Mhm.
George Maloof.
Is that where Bryce Harper went and played his college? Because he played 1 year of college. Is that where he went?
He's from Vegas, but I
Yeah.
don't know if he.
He played somewhere in Nevada. I couldn't remember if it was UNLV or not. He'd have money.
If you live in Vegas, you just forget that UNLV has athletics. I mean, there's so much going on. Sensory overload.
How's
But-
Barry Odom feeling today?
Whew.
I mean, he's probably glad he got out of there.
Uh-huh.
But you're operating $26 million to $31 million in debt.
You're going to send someone down to the strip with a bag of money. You're going to say you're not leaving here until you have covered this debt for us.
I hope you got a card counter on staff or
Yeah, exactly.
take somebody out of your math department. Get that done. Or just go on a heater during the tournament,
That's
right?
what I'm saying, yeah.
Ah, that would take a lot. They'd stop taking your bet if you're on that big of a heater.
Molly, what's the update from Nashville?
Right now, Pat, it's looking good for Ole Miss and your Rebels. You're up 11-4 on Arkansas.
Well, we had a 9-point lead.
Wait, you
Padula from
did.
the outside, no good. Rebound. That's it. Fly ball.
It's like-
Catch.
That's great.
I don't know if I could do actual play-by-play. I don't know if I can. But, yeah, 11-4. Arkansas with the basketball and trailing 14:40 to go. First half.
All right, let's take a listen from Nashville, brought to you by the SEC Radio Network that you can hear live right now on Jocks 100.5. That's the way it sounds over on Jocks 2, 100.5. Wow. It's 12:23, Jocks 94.5. We will talk to Dave Shoemate. He is the college basketball insider for SEC Unfiltered. He's going to join us coming up at the bottom of the hour. I've been telling everyone about Courtesy GMC and Trustful. I need you to go to courtesybirmingham.com and take a look at their outstanding inventory. And I'm talking about the 2025 Sierra HDs they have in stock on the lot now. They have the SLTs, the AT4s. How about the Denali's in stock? So if you can't get by and see them in Trustful, which I recommend, you can always go to Courtesy Birmingham and check out all of these wonderful deals. The Jocks listeners, they've taken advantage of these incredible deals, including the AT4X, the trucks. My goodness, they are just fantastic. They only have a few left, though, because they had $11,000 off MSRP, so take advantage of that. The Sierra SLTs, up to $13,000 off. And how about up to $5,000 off the brand new 2025, just came off the trailer, off the transports, the Yukon and the Yukon XLs. Courtesy just had a full truckload come in there, and they're not going to last long, so you need to go by and take advantage of $5,000 off the 2025 Yukon and Yukon XLs. February was a record-setting month thanks to our great listeners across the great state of Alabama. You got people driving up from Mobile, surrounding states, because they understand the value of Courtesy GMC and what they can save you today. Josh Gargis, Drew Lawley, they're a fantastic team. Go by and see them. That is Courtesy GMC in Trussville. Visit them online at courtesybirmingham.com.
A lot of basketball, a lot of conference tournaments going on across the country. We start in Nashville, second round of the SEC tournament. Arkansas and Ole Miss. Arkansas was a winner yesterday. Ole Miss leading this one, 10 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the first half at Bridgestone, 20-17 with the Rebels on top. Both teams obviously projected to punch their ticket to the big dance come Selection Sunday. Also, other games going on around the country. The big story coming out of the ACC quarterfinal between Duke and Georgia Tech. Duke leads the game with 13:48 to go in the second half, 38-33. But the big story, Molly.
We have some breaking news. So Cooper Flagg has returned to the Duke bench. According to the Field of 68, they just posted a picture of him. Looks like he's clapping, excuse me. But I will say.
Yeah, Molly.
He's
you
clapping.
Made it.
Well, I was also going to say his face looks really red. So maybe he was crying or
a lot of straining.
A lot of stress.
A lot of straining. Is that what you said?
Well, I just had to
Something
play
like
off what
that.
she accidentally said.
It's okay, Molly. It happens to the best of us.
It happens.
No, it's okay. But yeah, he's back on the bench. And he's standing by himself.
Okay.
No one's propping him up.
It doesn't look like it.
38-35. Duke on top, 14.5 points. The Duke live line, in case you're wondering.
What is it?
14.5.
Pat's got that twinkle in his eye.
Yeah, he saw a carrot he liked. Yep.
Nope.
right.
Nope.
Big East tournament quarterfinal. St. John's leading Butler. Not your daddy's Butler. 53-32. 13:58 to go in the second half. Were you guys around? I know you were around. I'm not talking about you, Pat. Molly, Conrad, you there when Brad Stevens and Butler had it going on for just a second?
Yeah, they went to back-to-back
Had
national
Ronald Norad, who
championships.
played at Homewood.
Yeah, and he did a great job with the Celtics after that as well. That was a really fun team to watch. Gordon Hayward.
Okay, well, Butler's losing 53-32. Big Ten tournament, Oregon taking on Indiana, 14:06 to play in that game. Mike Woodson could be coaching. Well, he's going to be coaching in the NCAA tournament when Indiana punches their
What's that
ticket.
score?
44-40, Oregon leading. 14:06. You got Oregon?
Yeah, and 2.
Halftime, Iowa State leading BYU 53-49. That is the quarterfinal of the Big 12 championship. Halftime out in the state of Texas, American Athletic Conference second round, Wichita State leading South Florida 38-28. And updating you on Ole Miss and Arkansas. Ole Miss is added to their lead, 24-17, Rebels on top. Hotty toddy, Pat Smith. 9:14 to go in the first half of that one.
I wish they were wearing their baby blues today.
Not today. I'm going to save that one.
I like those though.
Yeah, they're right.
You're saving those for Auburn.
Yeah.
Come on now, Pat.
Are they?
I think they've already worn, I think 2 alternate jerseys versus Auburn this year. The one at home and, well, maybe it wasn't the one on the road. Yeah, baby blue, bring them out.
You think during a timeout, Ty went down to the bench and said, "Hey guys, I got a tea time set up.
I
for
got a
tomorrow."
tea time tomorrow. You guys need to wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to see Arkansas play Auburn.
That wasn't one of Auburn's better games the last time they played, but Auburn shot it terribly. That was the fever dream game.
Well, that was also the game that Z was like non-existent.
Yes.
ZVG.
Yeah, I think he was 0 for 9 from 3-point range. Or
And he
something
kept
like
shooting.
that.
And
Yeah, he kept shooting.
Calipari, like late in the game, when the game was somewhat interesting. Cooper Flagg is on the bench.
He's not hopping around.
No, but he's got his warm up. Let's see if he gets off the bench to give his guys a high five as they come off on the timeout.
If he does a toe touch, we'll know.
I would make sure there was someone sitting right next to him, and he's standing
there
up right
he is,
there.
yeah.
Be like, nope.
He's saying, "Good job, baby. Good job, baby." And yeah, it looks like he's done. I can't tell.
Landrum just hopes more than anything in the world that Cooper Flagg is out for the year.
I need some help with this Duke basketball team and projecting my bracket. Without Cooper Flagg, I think that changes things drastically. You said, though, Pat, it really doesn't change that much for you.
No, I was not going to have Duke going very far anyway.
Does this give any other coaches, including, well, the obvious would be Bruce Pearl and Janai Broom, but does this give coaches any kind of pause as far as minutes played, guys that they play as they look at this story? Because this story is going to resonate around the country. It's not just some other big man that goes down in a conference tournament.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just look at it like, I mean, that could happen in practice, right? I mean, those are the kinds of things that
You could step off the bus wrong.
exactly. So I don't think you let it affect, what your game plan was going into it, but I do hope for his sake, unlike Landrum, that he's able to come back and play.
Well, no.
He's good for college basketball.
He is good for college
Oh,
basketball.
let him be good for it. He's a great teammate. Cheering on the bench. He looks very supportive.
You like him on the bench supporting his teammates.
Yes.
As opposed to being on the court.
I do.
Okay.
He's the glue guy, right, Landrum?
The glue guy. That's it. Yeah, he's great for the locker room.
All right, Dave
Morale's
Shoemate,
never been higher.
He's going to join us next. We're going to talk to him about the SEC basketball tournament where Ole Miss right now, they lead 30-21 over Arkansas. .1234 Jocks 94.5, day 2 of the SEC basketball tournament. Other big story in college basketball is Cooper Flagg going down about 2 minutes to go in the first half to Duke. Duke was behind most of the first half. They now lead by 5 over Georgia Tech with 10 minutes and 22 seconds to go. Cooper Flagg back on the bench, but he has not played since the 2-minute mark when he went down, turning the ankle. SEC action right now up in Nashville. Ole Miss, they have an 11-point lead, 32-21, with 6 minutes and 22 seconds left. And joining us now to talk about the SEC basketball tournament, he is the college basketball insider for SEC Unfiltered. Dave Shoemate joins us now on Three Man Front. Dave, what's your take so far after day one of the SEC tournament?
That was an exciting game last night, wasn't it? Watching Jeremiah Fears go back and forth, I thought it was a pretty well played game last night between Georgia and Oklahoma. I think most of us probably thought that was going to be the best game of the day, and it kind of lived up to the billing, especially what Fears did. And then Alabama fans can be familiar with, I thought Mo McGee was good for them last night. The Alabama transfer on the front court with Sam Godwin being out, he ended up with like 11 points, 8 rebounds, and he's again in the middle of Ramadan. So pretty impressive from there. I think Arkansas has obviously locked it up from yesterday. Again, I think they were probably fine no matter what, but you never want to lose to South Carolina twice in 1 week or twice in 2 weeks. And then I still think Texas is a couple of wins away. I may be wrong. I still think even if they get it done against A&M today, I think they're going to have to take care of business against Tennessee. And then, at some point it was – sometimes I feel like I go back and forth who was the worst team in the league this year, LSU or South Carolina. I know LSU got the head-to-head or won the head-to-head, but sometimes LSU looks a lot worse, and Mississippi State and Josh Hubbard put on a show last night. But I think we got a phenomenal day ahead, and then obviously tomorrow the top 4 seeds get involved in it too, but it should be an exciting weekend.
Dave, when you have to pick one intriguing storyline for you for the rest of this tournament, if you had to pick one, what would it be?
Oh, man. Probably it's got to be 1 or 2. Who potentially gets that last number 1 seed? And if Texas gets in, could the SEC get a ridiculous 14 out of 16 teams? And I was the one, I was at fault. I was saying it 2-3 weeks ago. I thought it would take care of itself or we would get 11. I thought it's going to be closer to 11 than 13. And here we are sitting here today on Thursday, the SEC tournament locked in with 13, just waiting to see what Texas does. I thought teams would ultimately kind of beat each other. But when the bubble teams had to get wins, like Oklahoma, Arkansas, Team Georgia, they all stepped up and got the wins necessary. I would probably say that storyline overall. Does Texas get in? I don't think so. And I really don't know. I've been asked on a couple of shows, if Alabama and Florida meet on Saturday in the semis, is that for a number 1 over? Is that for a 1 seed? I don't know. I guess the committee's kind of different year to year. I hope we're all hoping for that matchup. And I don't know, if I was Florida, I'd be a little, again, I know we're on a Birmingham station and I'm an Alabama alum, but if I was Florida, I'd be a little bothered. All right, we beat these guys about a week ago on their home floor, so we're going to come down to a neutral site game for this overall number 1. I know Alabama's got a little bit of a better not a little bit better, but a better non-conference play. But that's the 2 storylines I would be keeping an eye on. I think probably if Texas gets in, that's the nod. And can their rival Texas A&M kind of end their season and potentially do we have a new man in charge in Austin next year running the basketball program?
Dave, is there any question right now in your mind? Because I know some of the folks on the East Coast, especially after Auburn lost their final 2 games of the regular season, losing at home to Alabama, which is no small feat. My goodness, Alabama's been in the top 5 most all season long. But there has been that groundswell of making Duke the overall number 1 seed in the tournament. If Auburn were to lose tomorrow in the quarterfinals, do you think that door opens up a little bit more wide? Because Duke is probably, even with Cooper Flagg out, they are probably the hands-down favorite to still win the ACC tournament. Could Duke overtake Auburn for that overall number 1 seed?
Just due to brand and whatnot, I'd have to say yes. I really don't think it. Maybe I'm in a minority. Maybe y'all agree, but I don't think it's much of a discussion when you go look at the 15-4 quad 1 record for Auburn compared to Duke's 7-3. I know Duke has the head-to-head over Auburn, but I think when you look at Auburn's entire body of work, and you said about I really don't care what they did last week. Again, A&M game, they really had nothing to play for. Denver Jones didn't play. And like you said, the Alabama game was just back and forth. 2 really great basketball teams. Came down to a final shot by Mark Sears. I just think Auburn's big picture resume, if we're just being objective here, is better than Duke. I know Duke got the head-to-head. I don't really care what Auburn does this week. I would still make them the number 1 overall seed, and I really don't think it's that close.
Dave, we got Coach Cal's comments leading up to Nashville and what he had to say about the tournament. Doesn't really care about the SEC tournament. It's all about the NCAA tournament. While some of that can be true, I'm sure that was not received very well by the SEC office. And then Bruce Pearl comes out yesterday and says, unlike some people, paraphrasing, I actually think that this tournament is very important. But as far as the overall importance, the intrigue that is there, this year, especially with a historic regular season that we got out of the Southeastern Conference, do you think that this is the one-off, or do you think we continue to look at these conference tournaments as being diminished as where they once were?
I could see that. Again, I think each team's a little different. I mean, the committee's kind of told us over the last few years, if you're kind of locked in going into your conference tournament, you can't really move much seed line. I mean, we saw it with Auburn and Alabama last year. Auburn wins the conference tournament. They stay at a 4 seed. Alabama got embarrassed on Friday night against Florida. They stay at a 4 seed. So I think if you're locked in, you're safe. But I think if you can play yourself in or out, yeah, they'll maneuver a little bit of that. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see just what spot each team is. I'm sure the Cooper Flagg stuff, those coaches out there are kind of sitting there like, oh, gosh. But at the same time, there's a trophy presented on Sunday, and I think it's a part of your DNA as a culture. Like, hey, we're trying to go win a conference championship, especially this year in the SEC. There's something to be said for that. I know some people are like, I can't really remember year to year who won the conference tournaments, but I do think going to Nashville and bringing that trophy home, whoever that may be, that is quite the feat. And again, we all know it's so hard to go win a national championship. And I know you want some of your guys on a minutes count, but I think there's something to be said if you were to go make the Elite Eight Final Four, didn't win it all, but you still got to take home that SEC tournament championship. And for Auburn, I mean, there's something to be said for them. I mean, you go sweep the regular season and the conference tournament in the toughest conference ever. I mean, there's something to be said for that as well. But I think it just depends kind of where you're at. I mean, it's easy to sit here and say, hey, let's don't go play. And then again, basketball is a little different. I mean, it's like in these SEC baseball tournaments. I mean, we saw it that year Mississippi State won the national championship in baseball, got 10-run ruled in their first 2 games in Hoover. But again, you can control that with your pitchers. Basketball is as y'all know, basketball is a little different because, again, you're limited on roster numbers. But no, I mean, if you're playing for a title, my suggestion would be go win it. I think that's most coaches' opinion if you really ask them.
I wanted to ask you about one team that once they got to the 20-win plateau, they have not won a game, and I'm talking about the Vanderbilt Commodores. Has your opinion changed on the Doors as they get ready to go into the NCAAs?
Does that not look like a team over the last week and a half that just looked exhausted? They just looked like they kind of hit a wall. They got to that 8-win mark in the SEC, and it was kind of like they just exhaled. It was just kind of like they just breathed. It was like, we made it. I mean, now they're kind of sitting back, and like you said, they're kind of taking it on the chin the last few weeks. You can go back to their loss against Oklahoma. But, yeah, a little bit of concerning, but probably the best case for them if you're Mark Byington. And, again, I think it's him or Dennis Gates, if Bruce Pearl in the league this year, who would win the SEC Coach of the Year. Probably to get off your feet, let's just go plug in for a little bit and get off your feet until next week. I think it's probably best case for them because, again, this is a team that all they haven't played. They probably have a lot of newcomers. It's probably – you never want to lose a game. But I could see a lot of people being down in their brackets on Vanderbilt and picking them, and it wouldn't shock me if Vanderbilt won a game in the tournament next week. I do think that Mark Byington, even going back to his JMU days, they do a really good job scouting opponents and getting their guys in their best spot to be successful.
All right, Dave, when it's all said and done, if I give you the top 4 seeds of the SEC tournament, Auburn, Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, which fan base would be most excited about their team cutting down the nets on Sunday afternoon?
I'd probably say Tennessee. Because again, for whatever Tennessee fans will get on Rick Barnes, and again, I guess if you just don't like finishing in the top 4 of the SEC pretty regularly, I guess you got a problem with that. I'd probably say Tennessee. Now I think they probably got the worst chance out of the 4 to do it. Because I've kind of said it on a bunch of shows. I've been on a bunch of shows saying it. Tennessee, and I think a lot of people see it too. Their offensive ceiling with Ziegler and Chancellor scare me at times a little bit from an overall standpoint. But I probably think Tennessee fans would probably embrace it the most. In fact, Alabama's kind of got a little edge. Listen to their press conferences, Nate Oates, guys like Mo Diabate, and they feel like they kind of got an edge coming to this. So we'll see from that perspective. I mean, I can imagine the league. I heard somebody else saying it. The semifinals in the SEC tournament, there's a good shot. That's better than the Final Four. Because as we all know, I mean, you get random teams in the Final Four at times, just like NC State last year, and I guess some would maybe say Alabama. But, I mean, if it's Tennessee and Auburn and then the other semis, Florida, Alabama, I mean, I know the weather's going to be bad on Saturday across the Southeast and in Nashville, but, man, I can only imagine what the ticket price will be for that one.
No doubt. That is Dave Shoemate, SEC Unfiltered. Always enjoy your time and your analysts, and should be a fun weekend at the SEC basketball tournament. Thanks, Dave. We always appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all having me on, guys.
Take care. That is Dave Shoemate joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Well, congratulations to Wallace State men's and women's basketball on both winning the ACCC tournament titles. Also announced earlier this week, the Lions' Cammie Young and KJ Anderson were both named to the men's first team all-conference, while the Lady Lions had Callie Tinker and Cameron Sanders, who both earned all-conference nods for the women's team. Both teams are now moving on to the national postseason, where they will play in their respective NJCAA tournaments. If you want more information on the Wallace State Hansville Lions, go visit athletics.wallacestate.edu.
We continue here on the Thursday edition of Three Man Front. We'll get you up to date on all the games taking place in conference tournaments all across America. It's March Madness, and we're your home for it. Three Man Front and Jocks 94.5.
It is 12:49, Jocks 94.5. Second round action up in Nashville, Tennessee. The 8th seed, the Ole Miss Rebels, they currently lead number 9 Arkansas 42-29. 1 minute and 14 seconds left. Meanwhile, in Charlotte, North Carolina, Duke, who trailed for most of the first half against Georgia Tech, they have steamrolled the Yellow Jackets here in the second half without Cooper Flagg, who's been out with an ankle injury. It is currently 60-50 with 4 minutes and 57 seconds to go. Cooper Flagg left the game, Landrum, with 2 points. He was 1 of 7 shooting from the field. He had 4 rebounds before he was injured.
Warmer months, that means less clothes. You want to look better. You want to feel better about your body. You can do it with Mandu in downtown Homewood. If you want to call it boutique fitness, fine. I call it revolutionary, and it's innovative for sure. It's all FDA approved. It's electrical muscle stimulation fitness. Mandu in downtown Homewood, MANDUU.com. Electrical stimulation fitness. What that means, you're going to put on a specially designed suit. They hook you up to a machine. It sends electric pulses. It doesn't hurt to different parts of your body, whether you're trying to build muscles in your chest, your arms, your shoulders. Maybe you're trying to define your calves or just overall feel better, maybe lose weight, different tailor-made workouts. But the great thing about Mandu that everybody loves, and it's the selling point of Mandu, it's 15 minutes. That's right, 15 minutes. Because of that technology, 15 minutes at Mandu is the equivalent to 6 to 8 hours in the gym. Also increasing strength, balance, and flexibility. If you have things that you deal with like diabetes and arthritis, it can help with that as well, reducing back and joint pain, boosting your metabolic rate. There's just no reason not to do Mandu. Your first visit is free. They're going to put you in a suit and put you through that 15-minute workout, and you can decide if you like it. I can't guarantee that you're going to like it. I can almost bet that you're going to, but you're going to love the results that you get. I've gotten them. Damian Mitchell and so many other Jocks listeners have gotten them as well. Mandu in downtown Homewood. First visit free. They're going to put you through the workout, so be ready. MANDUU.com, and make sure you tell them Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
So I've been perusing most of the social media that folks that cover the Duke Blue Devils, and of course you're not going to know anything during the game. That will most definitely be the first question that comes in the post-game discussion, as Duke is now leading by 9 with 4 minutes and 38 seconds to go there in Charlotte. But Cooper Flagg went up for a rebound. He came down. He did not step on anybody's foot like Janai Broom had in the South Carolina game. Basically, what happened was he just came down wrong and just turned his whole ankle over. I mean, it was basically like the ball joint of your ankle. That was, Molly's getting sick as I'm describing it, but that's exactly what happened.
It's nasty to look at. And you're glad if you're a Duke fan until you get the reports that he's backed out there on the bench, but that's generally
he seems
what
like
happens.
He's in good spirits.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm sure that he's if he knows that it's hurt more than we've been led on to believe, or we don't know anything at this point. We just know what we saw. I would think that I don't know how much you can tell from body language or facial expression, but at least he's out there supporting his team. I was trying to see if there was updated odds for the NCAA futures for conference tournaments, and I've not seen any updated odds as far as Duke in the ACC tournament. So if those come along, pass them along. But interesting there. Halftime, they're in Nashville, and you got Ole Miss taking on Arkansas. I'll tell you what, John Calipari, for a guy who doesn't think that the SEC tournament, Pat, is really important, he went out of his way to grab a snazzy sport coat to wear to jazz up the sideline.
And look who's on set now.
Hey, it's old BP, Bruce Pearl.
Bruce Pearl has made an appearance there at halftime.
I love Nashville.
Sitting there next to former Auburn great Damian Fishback.
Old D.
So right now, Ole Miss leads 42-34. Arkansas went on a 7-0 run over the last 1 minute and 14 seconds. They hit 4 of their last 5 field goals. Meanwhile, Ole Miss was 1 for their last 8. So,
yeah, they had a really bad shot. They just took a long 2. They settled for at the end of half there, Pat. You don't like to see that.
Padula's only got 5 points.
You have to question where they are mentally going into the half, I think, Landrum.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, Padula has had some wide open looks, and he cannot knock them down today.
He's 0 for 5 from the 3-point arc.
Terrible. Take his scholarship. Make him walk back. It's just my vote. I coach a different way. I'm old school.
Arkansas is actually shooting better than Ole Miss in the first half.
Yeah. Wow. The scoreboard is up and running. We take you there now.
Give me
Conference
some good news.
tournaments.
I need some good news.
What did I tell you? Off the air, Pat. What did I tell you? That live line. What did I tell you?
Well, you told me.
I said Duke's going to win this game over Georgia Tech. 72-60. The live line at that point, Conrad, was 131.5. That would give them the half point, and that would go over. But it was also Duke minus 11.5. What would that do? That would be minus 12. That would be a double up. Right now, 65-55. Duke leading Georgia Tech. 3 minutes, 42 seconds to go in the second half.
I really hope it ends up 72-60.
Me too.
We're never going to hear the end of it, though.
No, you're not. No, you're not. But what a great way to bounce back.
Now, did you use Rob's money or your money?
That's my money. If it
When are
works
you
out for
using Rob's
me,
money?
if it works out
Rob's
for
is
me,
going
it's
on
my
Texas,
money.
right?
No, Rob's money's gone. Just tell him, hey, Rob, your money's gone.
I thought at the beginning of the show he said he still had it.
Yeah,
I do still have it. It's right here in my wallet. Hang on.
Oh, I gotcha. You gonna make it rain real quick?
By the way, this is a lottery ticket scratch off from the state of Kentucky if anybody wants it.
Apparently, it's not a winner.
Well, I have to go there to get my scratch offs. It's been in there for a while. Here's
You know,
the $12
they
right
do
here.
that in Georgia and Florida. You can go a little bit quicker. You don't have to
I
go
like to go up to the
Kentucky.
bluegrass.
Do you?
Less state troopers.
Yeah.
Speed up there, speed back. I'm
Will
just
that
kidding.
$12
Safe driving.
cover the next can opener? Or those run a little more than $12?
Well, we probably go to Dirt Cheap or Ollie's, get you a can opener. I don't know. My grandmother, she had the one that was actually positioned under the cabinet.
Yeah,
it
you
was a
mounted
luxury.
under your cabinet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had the magnet. It was great. It would have been great for you
I was
yesterday.
about to say it wouldn't have helped yesterday, but
My grandmother could also change the tire. So, I'm just saying.
we are still on that one, aren't we?
Give me some Oregon.
Miss you,
news.
Nene.
I need Oregon score.
Oregon score 61-54. Oregon, quack, quack, leading Indiana. 3:06 to go in the second half of the Big Ten tournament. How's that doing for you? I have no idea where your wager sheet stands. You said good. Yeah, oh, yeah. Smiling. Yeah, okay.
Didn't I tell? What did I tell you this morning? Early.
I asked Pat this morning, I said, what games are you looking at today? And the first one out of his mouth was, I really like Oregon over Indiana.
All right, speaking of IU, updated odds on their coaching search. Greg McDermott, Creighton coach, is now the odds-on favorite at minus 200. Followed by Ben McCollum of Drake. Followed by Brad Brownell of Clemson, followed by Chris Beard. So I think Chris Beard's safe. Will Wade at plus 700. And at this point, Will Wade, he'd take a lot of jobs. I think against McNeese and the Cowboys.
Interesting McDermott would leave Creighton.
How about this? McDermott, counting this year, because he's going to punch his ticket at the tournament, there'll be an 8 or a 9. Because of COVID, he's been there 15 seasons. Out of the 14 seasons they've been eligible for an NCAA tournament, this will be the 11th time they punched their ticket.
Wow.
At Iowa State, he was 0 for 4. College basketball, it's fun, isn't it? We'll keep you updated. Games from the rest of the country. Hour number 4, this tournament edition, a 3-man front. Jocks 94.5.
It is 1 o'clock. Welcome back into Three-Man Front. Pat, Conrad, Molly, Landrum with you until 2 o'clock. Take you up to the Paul Feinbaum Show. We've got conference tournaments. Started about 10 o'clock this morning. SEC tipped off at noon. The ACC first game of the morning about to become official in the next 1 minute and 6 seconds. And Molly, the scoreboard looks like what as of right now?
Oh, yeah. We got 1 minute and 6 seconds left to go in the Georgia Tech Duke game. And right now, Duke is winning 68-61. Landrum.
Yeah, 72-60 is what I needed. Duke minus 11.5 and it to hit 131 in total.
Now for the Big Ten tournament, which I didn't know that they were still having a Big Ten tournament since Nebraska.
You think they were suspended since the
yeah,
Cornhuskers did not qualify because they were so bad?
That's
I
awful.
forgot that was still a thing. But anyway, Pat, you're in luck because Oregon is beating Indiana still 65-56.
You finally make a bowl game and
There's
look what
about 2
happens.
minutes
You
left
miss
in
the
the
conference
game.
tournament.
Hey.
How much time left?
2 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Two-hand Thunder Jam.
And we've got a tie in the Big 12 tournament, 72-72, Iowa State and BYU. The Big 12 with the worst court that you've ever seen.
Hey, what's the time on that one?
10 minutes left in the second. And it's halftime up in Nashville with Ole Miss, Pat, winning 42-34 against Coach Cal and the Razorbacks.
That guard for Georgia Tech's totally on the take. You see him just dribble that ball away on purpose?
Listen, we're listening to Molly give us the scores.
I'm sorry.
Pat, you seem nervous about that Iowa State score for some reason.
Pat, do you want to know the max score?
I don't care about that.
Okay.
Not football season. Unless they're playing on a Tuesday night, I'm not interested.
All right, I was just making sure.
Wait, no. I do. See, he's off in his own world. Just
Face
ignore
guard him.
Turn his mic off. Let him sit over there and watch the Duke game. See? Now, that's the Akron game, right?
No, this is Toledo and Ohio.
No, what was the Akron score from earlier?
That's the one he's interested
I got to scroll to find that.
Yeah, you do. They might not even have it on there.
Oh, they won 96-67 over Bowling Green.
Zippy.
Oh, good. That's over 148.5 points.
Yeah, last time I checked.
Let's do some quick math here.
All right,
See,
live line over
you
is
do
hit.
care about the MAC.
Okay, so I really do. I need Oregon -2 here.
Well, I think you're in luck.
Wait, are you on the over in the Iowa State game?
No. In the Akron game, the over, I put that with Oregon.
Oh, gotcha.
I think you'll
Gotcha.
be good.
So I need
There's
Oregon.
a minute left, and they're up by 10, so.
So if Oregon, then
Yes.
I get a nice payday.
Go Ducks.
Quack, quack.
And thanks to our good friend, what's his name? Your friend from Arkansas? What's his
Trev?
name?
Oh, Ty.
Ty, yes.
The Waltons.
Yes.
Wrong T.
Yeah, your friend, Ty. You know, he got us all sucked in using this money to go against his Hogs, and which I was not going to do, by the way, until he gave that endorsement.
Pat, I don't want to bring this up, but Arkansas 7 wins this season when trailing at half. That's tied for the most in the SEC.
Why were they down at halftime?
That was a great stat, Landrum. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm. They like to play from behind.
When does Northwestern tip?
1:30.
Okay.
Do you have the line on that game?
If only they got to play Indiana in the tournament.
I got Northwestern plus 8.5.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of that,
Mm-hmm.
did you see what Colin said last night?
I saw that it looks like he's not going anywhere.
No, did you see him slam the Big Ten?
Oh, no, I didn't see that. I saw the Indiana stuff.
Yeah. He's basically accusing the Big Ten of putting them in a hotel with no air conditioning.
Like all of the teams or just Northwestern?
No, just Northwestern.
Well, they probably thought they were smart enough that they could, build their own or something.
But in this press conference, he also took shots at the Big Ten always does this to Northwestern. Oh, yeah.
You'll get
He's
equal
not-
revenue, but just get ready.
Are you looking at what he said?
When your participating teams come to events that we have here in the conference, we're going to give you the crap hole hotel.
But accusing the Big Ten of putting,
That's pretty strong.
said they got in the hotel and it was 85 degrees.
That's
I know he
not
said they
good.
were 1,000 degrees. He said the rooms were 1,000 degrees.
Do you also see what he took a shot at? Said the Big Ten always does this to us.
Yeah, he said that's where the league puts you. Every way they turn, they're trying to get us.
Well, then it's very interesting
Boom.
that he has been pretty adamant that he's not interested in the Indiana job. Because you would think if you're so.
I have not seen his name mentioned one time for that.
You talking about
job, have you?
Northwestern?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Collins' name for Indiana?
Mm-mm. No. I saw his name in it was like a thread. It wasn't anything official that came out from somebody who covers basketball or the team. Might have been a fan. Well, the good news for Northwestern, maybe they won't be there long.
But I mean,
Get back to Evanston.
Like you were in the Big Ten.
Evanston.
Had you ever heard? I've never heard that before about Northwestern
No.
or the Big Ten crapping on them.
I haven't either. Honestly.
Maybe it's a basketball thing. I don't know.
Well, after the game last night over Minnesota, he was asked about the Indiana job, and he said that he doesn't pay attention to those kinds of things.
You finally put in lights at your football field, and you feel like you can start calling shots.
I thought it was kind of cool. You got the view of the water at the
No, that was
the temporary.
that was awesome.
That was cool.
If they keep that side down and you could just look out at the water,
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Very unique.
who cares about the crap football you're watching? No, Northwestern is really good. If you get a Northwestern, was it Northwestern Minnesota or Northwestern Nebraska? That is always a lock early in the season for an under
Usually.
or an Iowa.
Or Purdue.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
Oh,
half the Big Ten.
Purdue, yeah.
That's true.
Step it up, guys. Texter coming in 205-834-9450. Someone said just started listing what happened to Conrad and the fish, Molly.
Oh, well, long story short, his can opener broke because apparently he doesn't know how to operate one of those. So he could only get a little sliver of it open, and it did start juicing out, and it did smell really bad. But if you want to watch all the footage, it's on the Jocks 94.5 YouTube. It's called Breaking Conrad.
People are in my mentions criticizing my can opening technique. So I guess when I get home, I'm going to have to
You have to practice, yeah.
We brought up Leave It to Beaver on the show the other day. I don't know how it happened, but maybe someone just...
We were talking about our buddy outside.
All right, so I want you to do a search real quick. We'll ask Conrad because he never saw the show. Type in June Cleaver, the mom on the show. All right.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So this person asked, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hot was June Cleaver?
How did I know that's the route that we were going down here? Give her a 7.
Yeah. So what? She always had dinner ready. And those boys knew etiquette when they got to the table.
Yeah, I'll give her a good 7.
Go ahead, Pat.
A good 7?
Yeah, strong 7.
So almost 8.
Yeah, like we're talking like 7.3 maybe.
50s TV mom bracket.
So you'd want to go over and possibly try to spend the night as much as possible over at the Beef's
I
house.
think Ward would have something to say about that, Pat.
Why's that Conrad guy always over here?
It's one thing with Eddie Haskell, but Conrad.
You know, Beaver's mom's got it going on.
Yep.
I think that's how the song
Beaver's
goes.
mom has got. No. Drake asking, Pat, is Todd Golden, Florida's basketball coach, putting more pressure on Billy Napier because of the success he's having? I don't think so. I think the two are unrelated.
He gets to the Final Four.
Now, if they could replicate what Billy Donovan and Urban Meyer were able to do, winning championships in the same year, that would be awesome.
All right, Molly, give us the very latest Cooper Flagg. What was going on?
Well, Landrum, your score didn't hit, but Duke has won 78 to 70. They overdid hit, but your final score didn't.
But more importantly, how's Cooper Flagg's ankle?
Well, he's walking on his own.
Yeah, he looks...
Yeah.
He's fine.
Putting weight on it.
He does not look fine.
Despite Landrum...
Hey, look at it.
Wanting
He's
to
grimacing right now.
Have his ankle amputated
There's
at
a little
halftime.
tear. There's a little tear rolling down that long, bony cheek.
So who do you dislike more, Kevin Harlan or Cooper Flagg?
I don't dislike either
it's
one
close.
of them. Come on. Thought we were done with the Kevin Harlan thing.
I thought we were done with the tire thing, but here we are.
Well, no, to be fair, a tire thing's rather recent. Kevin Harlan thing I thought was put to bed a while ago. But yes, Kevin Harlan is an outstanding broadcaster. He listens to the show, by the way.
Big fan.
That's why I always am very
Nah, he gets it. He's cool. He's cool.
quick to let him know. Exactly why I'm terrified of conference tournaments. Cooper Flagg. That one coming in. I agree. But what did Duke have to gain here? Possibly
Maybe the number one overall
but they've
seed,
been been so consistent. You have not heard one bracketologist say, well, depending on how Auburn does, or well, if Georgia or if Duke looks really strong now, if there's question marks, Auburn's your number one overall.
Yeah, I agree.
This one from Lee: Cooper Flagg injury will affect Duke the same way that Kenyon Martin's injury affected Cincinnati for the NCAA tournament several years ago. Cincinnati went from a number one seed to a nothing team, and unfortunately, that will happen to Duke without Flagg.
You know, I remember that now.
Yeah. Was AK on that
assistant
staff?
coach? I think he was. Happy birthday, AK. Today's his birthday.
That's yeah.
Did I see that right? It's Trent Dilfer's birthday too?
I think it's both of their birthdays.
That is
Dilfer's birthday?
crazy. And AK's.
I sent AK a text.
And yesterday was Skip Holt's birthday.
Was it?
Yeah,
Well,
All these Birmingham coaches.
I know.
wow.
Something about March.
Yeah, it is. All right. Happy birthday, Trent.
It is his birthday. I love birthdays.
Fire breathers only.
Exactly right. Cinnamon challenge has been offered up for Conrad.
Oh, no.
Nope, done that one already.
Mm,
Did that in high school.
that's another dangerous one.
It was not.
I think we need to
enjoyable.
get the chip back out. Remember the chip?
Oh, the world's hottest chip, whatever.
I got one left.
I know. Landrum did it.
Yes,
remember,
yes. We need to do that.
I remember AJ across the hall. He did it, and he yacked.
Yeah, but you know
Ugh.
what AJ did too. He didn't realize it. I think he rubbed his eyes.
Not
Oh
good.
yeah, that's a
Oh,
no-no.
no.
Mm-mm.
That's a no-no.
Not good.
That hottest chip in the world. It comes in a coffin.
Yeah, oh, I've seen it. Yeah,
Do you want to do that?
I don't want to
I
do
did
that.
it.
No.
How about this? I don't like ice cream, and I ate a half pint of that Haagen-Dazs that day. It was so hot.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not. Super spicy stuff is not my forte.
any update on Cooper Flagg? We're still waiting.
They'll be having a press conference momentarily post-game after Duke's win. So we'll find out.
Conrad's not going to get it. Molly won't get it. You'll get it. Airplane the movie. Duane texts in. He says June Cleaver was hotter once she spoke jive.
That is correct.
Roger.
Oh, good
I've
for you,
seen that
Molly.
movie.
We've all seen that. Everyone's seen that movie.
Did you know that June Cleaver was the one that was talking?
I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Surely you can fly this plane.
BB here. Hey, BB.
Hope you're feeling better, BB.
Yes. Please tell the listeners that although Pat and I are suffering this week from sinus infections, we did not spend last weekend together. Thank you for the clarification because there was a lot of questions.
I didn't have questions, but now I do.
Yeah, if Conrad ate tuna out of the can instead of the packet, he'd been better prepared to use a can opener. Crimson Convict, where have you been? He says, tell everyone hello.
Hello?
Hey.
There is a, what that? Make him do the Sprite challenge?
What is that?
Oh, I think
Do
this
you have
one.
to chug Sprite?
I think you have to like eat a banana or something and then chug Sprite. But
Hey,
that's another really dangerous one too, because it can like get stuck in there.
As we know, Conrad loves to eat the banana.
I do like bananas.
He
I eat
eats
them
it.
often.
Show the camera how you eat the
Yeah,
banana.
do it.
I don't have one right next to me.
But just act like you have a banana in your hand.
Yeah, just act like you have one in your hand. You used to.
I don't. I don't.
do it. You
I
know.
am.
You have to make a noise or the camera's not going to pick you up. Talk
This is
while you're
how
doing
you
it.
peel a banana with a G2 Pilot pen instead of a banana.
Is that
I
bold
do-
or fine? Is that a 10 or a 7?
7.
Yeah, I got a 7 too.
Yeah. Best pen ever.
Do it again.
I don't know. This isn't doing anything for anybody.
Do it slower.
I peel the bananas the way The actual monkeys peel bananas. And as I've said before,
Upside down.
And yes, if anybody knows how to eat a banana properly, it's probably a monkey because they eat them.
Yeah, they eat a
all the
lot of
time.
stuff and they throw stuff that comes out of them.
Yeah, and they stomp. I've actually learned a lot from them, if we're being honest. We have a similar lifestyle. Let's just be honest.
So that was you. You were Anthony Hopkins. Or who was it? What was the movie with the gorillas? Was it Gorillas in the Midst?
I
You
haven't
went and
seen that
observed
one.
the gorillas, the family of gorillas, and start. Yeah. Everybody watched Airplane. Nobody saw that one. Great. The Milk Mile.
Oh, it's that chug a milk.
I
gallon
agree.
of milk
I agree with
run.
this listener. Of all the movies that Molly has never seen, she has seen an Airplane. Amazing.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, but
Have you seen Spinal Tap?
no,
Best in Show?
no.
Best in Show's funny.
Best in Show's good.
Oh, this is a good one, a good throwback, and a great man, and a guy that we Pat and I knew, and I got a chance to work with him at Birmingham Southern. But this text coming in with attorney in Nashville makes me think of Joe Dean and Pure String Music in the Music City. Joe Dean, his father, and then of course Joe Dean Jr.
Yep.
Sweet string music.
Both of them just unbelievable broadcasters.
Yep, and great human beings. Bug Guy says, thanks for the Wallace shout outs, by the way. Thank you for listening.
You're welcome.
Apparently, they won it without their best player. Nick asks, if Auburn were to lose tomorrow, do you think they lose the number 1 overall seed to Duke?
I say no.
I say no.
No, and like Landrum just mentioned, I think if you have any doubt now, if Cooper Flagg's going to be unavailable.
It depends on how they look, but if they lose tomorrow, whether it's Ole Miss, and right now it would be, or Arkansas, I think there's just more concern about maybe the confidence of this team. I don't know.
Well, and let's be honest. I mean,
It's
even
hard to
if
get in
Auburn,
the head of 18 to 26-year-olds.
Well, and I mean,
I like how you had to up that because you were thinking about Baker Mazzara being 25 years old.
And now it's that way across all of college football, intercollegiate athletics.
I just think any loss that Auburn could have, whether it's Ole Miss or Arkansas tomorrow, is probably going to be better than any loss Duke could have in the ACC tournament, just based on the quality of those teams.
Mike texts in, he says, have you ever watched NFL Network, A Football Life, Nick Saban? Do you know that rock song Nick played after every victory and driving home? Thanks, Mike. And he said basketball still does not count.
Wasn't it an Eagles song?
I was about to say, I was going to guess either Stones or Eagles because those were his favorites.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Someone kicking themselves they didn't take that 25.5 Georgia Tech plus the line. Yeah.
If I'd have picked it up at halftime, remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right. We appreciate the text. We'll keep you updated on all the scores going on. One quick one. Jimmy's always good with this stuff. The Queen of England ate bananas with a fork and a knife because she wasn't a peasant like us. So I guess you're trying to be more relatable these days. That's good. To monkeys. We continue. We still got Pat Ponders, a tournament edition of that and much more. 3-Man Front continues on this Thursday. Jocks 94.5.
14:26 to go until the end of the ball game. Second round action of the SEC basketball tournament. Right now, Ole Miss holding on to a 4-point lead over Arkansas, 49-45, as the Arkansas Razorbacks, they have definitely made this a game here in the second half, as they have been able to cut this halftime deficit. It was an 8-point lead by Ole Miss at halftime, so now it is down to 4 with 14:21 to go in the game.
You want to enhance your basketball tournament experience? Well, you can try out Prize Picks. You can download it right now if you are in the comfort of maybe not driving or your office or at home. Download the app, fill out your information, strike up the account today before March Madness begins. And this is what's going to happen. You're going to play your first $5 play, and I'll tell you how to play in just a second. But when you do that, win or lose, you're going to get $50 instantly credited back to your account. So they're going to bankroll you for the early part of March Madness, which is never bad. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Over 10 million members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Enter promo code WJOX. $5 play, win or lose, you get $50 instantly. Again, though, you have to enter promo code WJOX. Those 2 potential projections. We're going to go SEC today. Why not? The battle for the Lone Star State. Trey Johnson of Texas. He's let us down yesterday, Conrad. He was slated for more or less than 20.5 points. Today, Trey Johnson versus Texas A&M, 18.5, more or less. I'm going to ride with Trey Johnson and say more.
Might as well, yep.
This could be his last game as a Texas Longhorn.
It's going to be really funny when he scores 18 like he scored 19 last night.
Don't say that. Also, Wade Taylor for Texas A&M, that was tempting, but I'm going to go Anderson Garcia of Texas A&M. More or less 7 points.
Less.
I'm actually going to go more.
Okay.
Prize Picks, you can, as long as your consensus when you fire in your picks, you can do that. Promo code WJOX. Download the app today and enjoy all of the tournament action.
Our good friend Mike Newton from the Friends of Rickwood, he just texted me a few moments ago, and I wanted to pass this along. UAB versus Troy in baseball, that will be at Rickwood on Tuesday, March 18th. Gates will open at 12 with first pitch at 1 o'clock. So that will be a lot of fun. Troy and UAB playing there at Rickwood Field.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Yep.
Troy's got a good baseball program, and UAB, despite the late inning loss that they had to Alabama the other night, they got a big one coming up this weekend up in Smyrna, Tennessee, or not Smyrna, Tennessee. They play Middle Tennessee State, right? Green and Gold.
That's in Murfreesboro.
Yeah, Murfreesboro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So that the gates will open at noon, and that is, again, UAB versus Troy at Rickwood Tuesday, March 18th. That'd be a good opportunity if you're not at Social Taco visiting with us.
You
Should
should
be able to go watch some baseball.
Yeah, next week's going to be so much fun. Love tournament action today and tomorrow as well. Updating you on games going on in progress right now. Pat Smith is hard to tell from his reaction as he is monitoring these scores. 3:57 to go, second half. Big 12 championship quarterfinal on a terrible court. It just doesn't fit my eye. BYU leading Iowa State 87-82.
Wait, say that again.
87-82 BYU. That's the reaction I was afraid of.
Wait, hold on. No, yeah.
You could?
No, I'm not.
What was the line going in?
Minus 2.5.
Go Cyclones.
3:12 to go, second half. American second round out in the state of Texas. Wichita State leading South Florida 64-60. 12 minutes, 48 seconds left, second half. Richardson Arena, the SEC basketball tournament. Arkansas has stormed back. 51-50. Ole Miss leading that one. Padula's been terrible today. Oh for 5 from outside, and I think all 5 of those shots from outside were wide open. Just keep letting him shoot, right? Halftime of the MAC championship quarterfinal, Ohio and Toledo. Toledo leading 39-35. It is Alabama State out of the SWAC quarterfinal, leading Texas Southern 27-15, 7:46 to go in the first half of that one. St. Louis with a first half lead over Davidson, 24-15. Billikens leading in that one, 7:50 left in the first half. Wisconsin and Northwestern, if Northwestern can play, because apparently they are staying in a hotel that was 1,000 degrees because the Big Ten hates them. That is your scoreboard update. Arkansas has taken the lead, 53-51, just over 12 minutes to go. We will try to console Pat. Pat will try to gather himself and give us questions. Pat Ponders on the way next on Three Man Front.
Let's do some overtime in the first game from Nashville. You want to do some overtime? Kind of like push everybody back tonight?
I thought the schedule last night, I mean, Georgia that tipped at 8:40?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
They did a good job yesterday.
Well, Mississippi State did their job. And
that's
running LSU out of the building at halftime.
It is tied 53-53 between the Rebels and the Hogs. 11:24 to go in the basketball game.
How you feeling, Mr. Smith?
I feel great.
You look great. Powder blue. I wore this in support of you. Solidarity, man.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Molly did.
It's more anti.
Neither did Conrad. Neither did Conrad.
If Cal doesn't want to be there, I don't want them there.
I mean, he's got something on closer to Arkansas colors.
Yeah, it does. If you glance at it,
quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really make out the A. Is that
looks
an
like it has
Arkansas A or is that the
It's a Razorback.
It has that. Arkansas has the 2 flips, right?
They do.
And it's a little
the
fatter
base-
font.
Arkansas has a different baseball A than the football team.
That is true.
Mhm.
The baseball one's cool. I mean, it's not as good as this one, but it's fine.
5 questions from Pat. We'll try to answer. This is what we call Pat Ponders.
Brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trustful. Get by and see them and the wonderful inventory they have in person, located right off of I-459, exit 32 in Trustful. Question number 1. What was your biggest surprise from day 1 in Nashville of the SEC tournament?
If I had to pick one, it would have been just how impressive Mississippi State was. I thought that would actually be a pretty close game. I know what the series has said and Mississippi State dominating LSU of late, but never thought that they would run them out by 30 points. LSU team, they do have more talent than that. They haven't been great as far as overall record, but that would have been it. Mississippi State, they look pretty good. That was the version that Christians needs for the tournament. Now the competition will increase, but
Yeah, I would probably go with Oklahoma, either Jeremiah Fears, just 29 points and how incredible he was, but really just the team as a whole. I mean, at one point in the first half, they were 10 of 15 from 3-point range, and that's essentially what allowed them to hold on to that win over Georgia. So, yeah, I'll go Oklahoma, and not only the fact they pulled off the upset, but just how good they were shooting the deep ball.
I was also going to go Oklahoma in the nightcap. That was my favorite game of the night.
By the way, Porter Moser, so I started doing a deep dive on Loyola, Chicago, and when they made their Final Four run. And it just, I don't know why I haven't thought about it, but I asked myself, is Sister Jean still alive?
She is.
And she is. 105 years young.
He was out,
That's
wasn't
incredible.
he, when I asked the
Oh, you
Ponders
asked the
question?
I was going to say,
question?
yeah, we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Was she born in 19, I think it's 1919?
It's
Yeah.
remarkable. That's incredible.
Yeah, the Pop-Tart mascot, which one was it? Was it Grape?
The Wildberry.
Wildberry, yes.
Wildberry was at a Loyola game and went by and gave Sister Jean a high five, and it went viral.
Oh, okay.
And then my question was, how many Pop-Tarts in Sister Jean's life do you think she has eaten?
And honestly,
That's
if
what it
she's
was.
105, the answer's probably 0.
She could be like that guy, the dad from Grumpy Old Men, bacon and cigarettes and beer every day.
Hey, for some people it works.
It's not
Yeah.
her. It worked for him.
Question number 2. If you're a college basketball player and you had to eat the same meal 3 hours before every tip-off, not a snack, but a meal, what meal would you eat?
Chicken Alfredo?
I'm probably going to go with some kind of power bowl, like a power grain, maybe some quinoa, maybe some grilled chicken. I don't want anything that's going to be too rich, too heavy, not too fatty,
See, I was
but
going
I
to say,
get the carbs.
I was going to say like a light pasta, not like a chicken Alfredo, but, get you some carbs, some chicken for some protein, maybe like some steak, not like a big steak, but like,
Yeah, put a little kale in there. you throw it in
Yeah.
there. Just you feel better about yourself before you go play Molly.
you do.
Chicken and rice, baby.
Hmm.
Chicken and rice.
Grilled chicken and rice. Yep.
What about you, Pat?
It would be grilled chicken and rice.
Looky there.
Is just rice plain or you,
Oh, yeah. I love
You
You
just
mix
like
it up.
plain,
just
plain
regular
rice.
white rice.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love it,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I
No
love
seasoning or anything?
butter and salt.
Yeah,
I like
it's
the
good.
long grain brown rice.
I like long grain. Yeah.
I like wild rice too.
I like quinoa.
I get a little crazy with a wild rice. I just like it flavored. I will take my regular rice a lot of times and just boil it in chicken broth.
I
Gives it
will
that
say,
natural flavor.
Paige does that sometimes. It's very good. Yeah.
Question number 3. Name one college basketball rule you would change to improve the game.
I do think I would like to see something done with the fouls. Maybe either
More or
raise the
less?
limit where you get an extra one, or maybe you don't have guys that foul out of games, and then it just turns into an advantage for free throws for the other team. So instead of having to work all the way through, if you want to keep your guy in the game, then they're automatically in the double bonus. Just thinking outside the box.
Yeah, see, that's where I was going. I think an easy one that a lot of people would like to see, we know, is going from halves to quarters, but that's kind of a big thing.
But the block charge, there's no way that you're going to change that.
No.
That's whoever has got the whistle in their mouth that night.
Maybe, move the bonus back a foul or two to kind of de-incentivize the amount of free throws, and especially later in games, you have more teams are going to be more likely to have a foul to give and can be a little more strategic, and it doesn't just feel like free throw at the end of a game.
Yeah, maybe something with the fouls.
Okay. The latest bracketology has 13 SEC teams in, and Texas is on the verge of becoming number 14. If the number ends up being 14, which would be a record, what's the over-under on the number of teams from the SEC that would make it to round 2?
The Sweet 16 or the round of 32?
Round 2.
Round 2.
You got 14 teams. I will say that, I know the matchups, you're going to have some 8-9s. That'll be tough. I'll say 9.
So 9 of the 14 would survive through the to the first round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, I was going to say, if I'm setting the over-under, I would go like 8.5. That seems like a good number because, like you said, Landrum, you are going to have SEC teams be favored in a lot of those matchups, but you will have some of those tricky 8-9 matchups. I think Georgia's going to be a 10 seed right now. And so those could be a little tricky. And then Oklahoma and Texas and those kinds of teams would be questionable. But yeah, I'd set it at 8.5 for over-under.
What was the question again?
She was looking up something. She's got some news on Cooper Flagg we'll share with you in just a moment. The question was 14 SEC teams make the tournament. What is the over-under on the number of teams to make it to round 2?
I'll go 9.5.
You said 9.5. You said
8.5.
9.
9. So you go 9.5.
Yeah.
So you like the number a little bit higher. Before we go to the last question, what's the update on Cooper Flagg?
So Cooper Flagg sprained his ankle, and good news, the X-ray. Sorry, I'm really out of it today. The X-ray was negative. Yay.
So
sorry, Landrum.
So Landrum, that was saying the whole time that he was going to be out, probably not even playing the NBA.
Yeah, never play again.
Yeah, career ender.
I think was my statement.
Not even playing the YMCA men's league.
Maybe walk with a little bit of a limp the rest of his life.
They did say they're concerned about the swelling.
Yeah,
but that's about it.
They should be.
Sorry, Landrum.
It was negative.
No, don't be sorry.
At least you won't get those sympathy votes now.
Well, good 4 to 6 weeks. It's sprained. You think he suits up versus St. Francis?
Absolutely not.
All right, final question of the day. Would you ever consider moving to another country for political or financial reasons?
It would have to get pretty bad.
Where would you go?
Costa Rica was always a spot that I'd kind of prepared my bug out bag for. Not Canada.
So with that, your answer would be yes? You would consider leaving the country?
If it was for a financial opportunity.
Okay, I said political or financial reasons.
I can come back, right?
No.
Oh, don't add that.
Well, you asked, so I added it.
Molly and I can come back. You cannot.
I like that.
If you're out, you're out.
Well, maybe I'll just go to somewhere like Greenland, and then all of a sudden I'm back in.
You get annexed.
But that doesn't count, does it? Because it would technically be a part of this country.
As of right now, it's not.
Well,
what if I went offshore the Alabama Gulf Coast into the Gulf of America, and I just had like a little dinghy that I was living on?
A little dinghy.
Yeah. Would that count?
International waters? Sure.
Yeah.
That sounds like an awful life, but
Talk to Con of the Jaguars. Get on the Kismet.
Are you yay or nay? Are you going or are you staying?
Conrad communist?
For political purposes, I cannot imagine a scenario where I would want to leave the country. It would have to get astronomically worse than we've ever seen it at any point in the history of this country. But for financial opportunities, it would have to be something remarkable. But
so
yes.
your patriotism can be bought. Is that what you're saying?
No, that wouldn't have anything to do with my patriotism.
Well, you just said if there's a financial situation that you would leave the country.
I mean, if somebody wants to pay me 7 figures to do the job I'm doing right now,
and you could never come back to the United States.
Based on your daily diet,
we can be pen pals.
Of eating fish out of a pouch, the way you eat a banana, and then I don't know,
your disgusting habits in the shower.
Whatever. I'll go ahead and I'll be nice and say your customs that you have there in the shower. I think you would fit in a third world country. You could be like their leader. The great wise one.
I have been to Ecuador.
300 years from now, and they're looking back. When did the waffle stop?
All right, so for money, you would go.
Yes, but it would have to be a lot of money.
But you would go.
Yes.
What if Tua said, Conrad, let's just get out of here? Did you sail away with him?
Next plane out.
Mm-hmm.
No question. I don't need any money for that.
You'd pay him.
Well, he's making like $200 million right now. He'll take care of us. He'll be all right.
In a rowboat, and you have to row.
That's fine. Yeah.
Molly, how
I don't
about
want him
you?
to hurt his hip.
I would go if it was like a financial situation.
What country?
I love Ireland.
Oh, well, you and Rosie O'Donnell would have a good time together.
I just like when I went for the Nebraska game and everyone was really nice.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
It was too easy.
That was way
but
too
that would be
easy.
good because Molly would still get to watch Nebraska like maybe once a decade. They would go
Right.
back over
They
there.
might go
and
back to, yeah.
That was not a shot at you, by the way. That was,
okay, good.
That was. No,
Is
it was-
Ricky Lake still alive?
I think so, but I don't know.
I don't know why I just naturally associated her with Rosie O'Donnell. Daytime talk shows. Discuss amongst yourselves.
Great question, Pat.
That's today's Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trustful, courtesybirmingham.com.
Oh, a rare treat. You don't want to miss it. Miss Molly Robinson, the worst thing that she has seen. It's next.
Coming up at the top of the hour, it's the Paul Feinbaum Show. Meanwhile, up in Nashville, Tennessee, 7 minutes and 19 seconds to go. Number 9, Arkansas, they lead number 8, Ole Miss, 63-59. For all the SEC radio network coverage of the SEC basketball tournament, you can turn to our sister station, 100.5, Jocks 2, for all the latest from the SEC basketball tournament.
Chris Stewart, he's on one of the games today, right?
Yeah, he might be doing this one or the next one.
Maybe the next one. But yeah, we got wall-to-wall coverage, of course. We're going to have Auburn coming up on Friday. You can hear UAB on Jocks 2, 100.5, I believe. I'll check my schedule. Shouldn't have.
You are correct.
Spoken. Okay, thank you. But yeah, this is your place for not only tournament action, for conference tournaments, but through next week. And we got a lot of fun stuff happening next week, and we will update you on that as well. We see good, we see bad. Before we get to that, though, updating, Jimmy, here you go. Second round SEC tournament 63-61. That is your updated score. Arkansas leading Ole Miss, 7:07 to go. Second half. Thumbs down from Molly. Concerned look from Pat. Conrad really doesn't care. I do. Arkansas +4.
I just can't imagine your team having to play before Friday. That sounds awful.
Other awful things. Molly has seen something that she thinks is absolutely devastating. This is the worst thing that Molly has seen.
So if there's one thing about me, it's that I am a social media sleuth, okay? And I can pretty much find out anything about someone's love life, especially on social media. And I have some really bad news for all of our Hurricane friends and fans. Apparently, Carson Beck and the Cavender twin, I think it's Hannah, apparently they have broken up. They have called it quits. One of the signs that you're in a relationship with someone is you post them on your Instagram. Well, she has taken down all the posts.
You post them in your profile pic?
No, it wasn't a profile pic, but she had them like on her page.
Okay.
And all the pictures are gone. Now, again, she hasn't come out with a statement. Carson Beck hasn't said anything, but she unfollowed him on social media. So she no longer follows Carson Beck. And Carson Beck has gone private. You can no longer go to his profile. It's a cold world out there. Now, there's like nothing that... There's a few rumors circulating.
Okay, and you need to get to those. You're our sleuth.
I know, I'm working on it.
Throw them out there.
There's a few rumors as to why they broke up and they called it off. But apparently Carson Beck was being a little suspicious on Snapchat again.
In other words, he was being flirty.
Maybe, yeah.
With her sister, and he thought he was talking to Hannah, and he was actually talking to the other one?
I don't know about the sister. I probably doubt it because she's dating the Cowboys tight end.
Oh, that's right.
Ferguson.
That's right, yeah.
So I think she's okay. But there is a theory that he might have been caught cheating, which is never good.
Physically cheating or emotionally cheating?
I think emotionally, maybe. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's no Jackson Dart, Pat. Come on, let's be honest here.
Just making sure.
But someone was able to grab pictures of his Snapchat. Apparently, he had added a girl, and he Snapchatted her. Things just weren't working out, you know. I felt it coming, and then he sent another Snapchat that said
what?
Literally this past weekend.
What was that last one?
Was that the last one?
Things just weren't working out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I felt it coming, and then he sent her another one that said literally this past weekend, LOL. I was asking when they broke up.
She just couldn't trust him anymore. Their cars weren't safe. Her heart wasn't safe. Just couldn't do it anymore. It's awful.
Oh, look.
Now Pat's distracted.
That little Ole Miss fan.
So cute.
She was with her boyfriend. I knew that this was bad news, Molly.
Yeah.
This was going to be bad. It was set up. You knew this was going to happen. They're going to start spending time together. He's not in Athens. She's not in Coral Gables. They're both there together. And then
this is what happened.
We
This is
need
exactly
to know
what happens.
were they living together? Because that could really make things problematic.
I don't know, but they had their car stolen together. So you never know.
was that staged?
Ooh.
Maybe. Again, neither one of them have come out and said anything, but she has unfollowed him and he has gone private. So good luck in the fall card.
Okay, not you, but do you think he'll have trouble rebounding?
I'm going to say no.
Does being the quarterback of your team, does it get you further in Athens or Coral Gables?
You know, just Miami with just being Miami, like, I feel like he'll be okay.
I think, yeah, he'll be fine.
Best of luck, Sid. We wish you the best.
So yeah, that is the worst thing I've seen.
Not a good start to the offseason for Mario Cristobal and the Kings.
That was fun. That was fun, Molly.
It was fun.
You
Thank you, Molly.
You made it through it.
The
Somehow.
scoreboard looks like
Need
this.
to read ahead next time.
Yeah.
That was perfect. Was that 3 times today for you?
Yeah.
What was the first one? It was instead of clapping, it was crapping.
Yeah.
That's great.
That was the best one, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. This last one.
Well, it was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. She had to read it twice.
Update.
I had to make sure I was reading it right.
Update from Nashville. Oh, Arkansas. That was nasty. 65-64. Hogs leading Ole Miss. 5 minutes, 54 seconds to go in the second half.
We've been following this Cooper Flagg story, and a couple of things, some storylines that have come out of that game. First off, everyone was paying very close attention to what was going on with Cooper Flagg, and his head coach, Coach Shire, he just said a few moments ago about discussing Flagg's availability for tomorrow. He says it's not worth it. Says that he would have to be convinced to play Flagg tomorrow if he's even given the go-ahead to play. As Molly told us, the x-rays were negative, that it is a sprained ankle. But the bigger storyline, and this is getting lost, is that Duke center Malik Brown injured his shoulder, and according to Shire, he is definitely going to miss some time. We hope he returns.
Small ball for the Blue Devils.
So not only you're dealing with your National Player of the Year, but Malik Brown, who was a transfer from Syracuse, if I'm not mistaken, to Duke, according to his head coach, it looks like his injury, I think it was his shoulder weight, I think at the video that I saw.
I don't see a Battier or Boozer or Leitner coming out of that locker room. Sorry,
So-
Duke, your season's over. Good night.
My word.
Go to bed, Blue Devils.
Meanwhile, for all you haters out there,
So awful.
Ole Miss now up 66-65.
There's plenty of time for them to squander this one, Pat. We know their history. At least they're playing this game in Nashville. Not Atlanta. They would know what to do with themselves. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for all of you joining. Molly, thank you especially.
Thank you.
Conrad, thank you. Stay tuned. Paul Feinbaum and our coverage of the SEC Tournament Championship